welcome to our offshoot of our movie discussion that usually happens on Sundays. This is Bros Discussing Movies, Volume 2. This is a lost skeleton of Cadavra with our special guest, Bear the Gen X GM. Hello, sir.
I want to know why I'm special. You implying I take the short bus? Is that what it is?
No, sir. Actually, you're one of the few people I know that's actually seen this movie and wants to talk about it. And I'm very actually to the point where you actually instigate a conversation. So you're watching this movie, huh? Yeah. Can I come in? Who's part of the panel? I want to be part of it. Okay, yeah, you're in. It's just you, me, and Six Nations. And then I added Crafting Gamer because Crafting Gamer is like, I don't know if I want to see it or not. I'm like, if you don't want to see it, want to be part of the panel, want to be the audience member that has to be convinced to see it, go ahead. If you want to watch it with us, please come on ahead. And he was there with us watching the film. I really enjoyed this movie. Thank you for the suggestion, Six Nation 31 Kings. And Bear, this is a treat to have you on here discussing a film that you obviously have a very vested interest in.
I love it. I know it's a good film. I enjoy it. Loved it in the theater when I saw it at its premiere in Vancouver. Way back in, 2004, I think it was?
Yeah, it was 2004 when I saw it at the Nickelodeon, which is the art house theater in my former hometown.
And that's weird because they say they released this movie in 2001, but then if it had a second run in the theaters a few years later, do you guys know if this got sold off in an asset sale and they decided to generate money on it, or?
Oh, they might have just picked up a new distributor or something like that.
Okay. It's definitely a different film, but I love the homage it makes to the 1950s movies. Just the music at the start of the film just kind of gets you in that we're no longer in Kansas of early 2000s movies. You have the definite sound, which has been replicated to sound like it was mixed with the equipment from the 1950s. It sounds like it could fit right around The Terror from Beyond Space, which I don't know if you've seen that before, but that's what it reminded me of.
Yes.
Well, look, let's discuss the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's too long. The joke runs out often. It's not funny enough to maintain its runtime, and that's a big problem it has as a movie. It's a very fun movie, and if you're a fan of old, when I was growing up as a kid, one of the channels, CHSJ out of St. John, New Brunswick, used to run this Friday night show at midnight called Shock Theater. There would just be this skull coming towards you on the screen and doing some narration for Shock Theater. And then they'd play old 50s and 60s monster movies, right? So I saw a lot of the classics that way. And the thing about bad movies is they're bad. People forget that. They might be cult classics. They might be MST3K fodder. They might be riff tracks, but they're still bad movies. And one of the biggest problems a lot of those movies have is their material cannot meet their running time. So I guess inadvertently, he completely did a 100% homage to those films by his material not having enough leg to carry the entire running time.
Yeah. Lumar completely fulfilled that requirement. I'm not in movies, but I don't think I would want this movie to be like a 70-minute film. I actually would want to pad it out and try to make a 90-minute film like what he did. I got to give him props for that. There's a lot of movies from that era that he's trying to spoof that they really do run out of gas fast, and a lot of them I've seen through Mystery Science Theater 3000, which is good, bad. I'm not certain, but that is one of the best archives of movies that otherwise we would have never seen when I was growing up in the 90s, because there were a lot of places that were trying to get away from certain things like storage of films, which is expensive and time consuming, and you have to have temperature regulation and HVAC working right and all this crap. I get it. So I have to give a big applause to MST3K for at least preserving these films, not in their whole context because they give an audio track on there, but I would have never seen some of the kids at the classics that you get to complain about today. I think this movie does everything right for what it's trying to do.
To answer your question, a slightly shortened version, one scene removed, of The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra was released by Sony TriStar with a 2003 copyright. 35mm prints played commercially, theatrically early in 2004. Columbia TriStar Home Video released a special edition DVD in the summer of 2004. Another company also exhibited this particular print overseas. I don't know what scene was cut, but that's what it says.
That's interesting.
No, I see what you're saying, but here's the thing. Okay, look, I want Larry Blamere to make money. I want him to be successful, right? I mean, they bought all their props on eBay, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. They were doing the best they could.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to understand that a slavish dedication to the genre that you're spoofing is not going to make you money. What Lost Skeleton was missing was one component that could have really made them some money. A character, be it a Jack Black type or a Patton Oswalt type, or just someone who could have been there in the movie, like, the scientist's, lab partner Skippy, Bud, Snapper, whatever you want to call him, who just is just there for the audience, just going, every time they say something retarded or stupid or insane, or they over-explain in that 50s style, just having that one guy that goes, huh? What? And maybe have him drinking in the background because he's just becoming an alcoholic as the movie progresses. Whatever the case may be, you could have done something to give the audience someone to anchor themselves to. And a lot of people I've shown this movie to over the years all feel like there's no one they can anchor themselves to. They feel like there's no one they can connect to in the script.
I thought that was the skeleton, to be perfectly honest.
Jesus Christ.
The skeleton is the best character in the show, I think.
I sleep now.
Exactly. Yeah, this film had mixed feelings when I first watched it because I grew up in a similar setting with KVVU Channel 2's Creature Features, which was first hosted by Bob Wilkins and then John Stanley. When I was a little bit older as a child, this was still when television went off the air. I recall watching reruns of Bob Wilkins, and he would read the TV guide and be like, okay, our movie is such and such a movie, but here on this other channel, we have such and such a movie, and this is a way better movie, and you should spend your time watching this instead of what we'll be presenting you tonight. And people still watched all these crummy horror movies and campy sci-fi films that were put on the show. And it was great. And we don't have that vibe as much anymore. There's a couple of programs that kind of pay homage to that style of film or programming, but it's not the same. It's a copy of what was originally out there. This movie, to me, was great in the fact that it was low budget. It was a spoof, had great dialogue. But 20 years later, I can see, the cracks in the veneer. It's not to say that it's a horrible movie. It's definitely one of those beer and pretzel movies you want to be with friends and just get a bunch of schlock. Toss that in. I have seen.
I thought it was in the theater, man.
The third movie that he did, Dark and Stormy Night, and that was pretty damn funny.
Was it?
It's a spoof of the thriller movies.
Yeah, because Screaming Forehead wasn't funny.
No. Although I did find out that there's a sequel to The Skeleton of Cadavra.
The Screaming Forehead looks like a sequel to The Crawling Hand.
The Crawling Hand was awesome. Michael Caine is awesome. And the fact that they made a horror movie about a freaking crawling hand that murders people. Kudos to them. I don't think you can do that nowadays.
Immediately reminds me of Waxwork 2. Because the whole premise of the movie is trying to prove that a disembodied hand killed somebody.
It's in that same vein of like, oh, look, the serial killer died and you got his eyeballs, and now you get to see flashbacks of all his crimes or whatever.
You know what makes these movies the best thing ever, these 50s movies? The very simple fact that there's always a character who's there to explain things scientifically to the audience. and it's amazing. I love those scenes. Those scenes are the scenes I live for. Well, actually, ants could become giant-sized if blah, 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 and they just go on.
It usually has something to do with atomic energy.
Of course it does.
Or X-rays.
Because they didn't understand the effects of air pressure on limiting animal size in those days, right? Like stuff like that. But the point is that that's what makes these movies fun. Now, my dad was of the right age for all this stuff. He was born in 1938, so he was like a young man when all these movies were coming out, in the 50s. It was a teenager, young man type time for him. And he used to tell me that when you went to the movies, you paid your 50 cents. There was a short, some serial or cartoon that you'd watch. Then there was the A feature, which was the movie you showed up for, Gone with the Wind, whatever Western it is, whatever the case may be. And then you could stick around for the B feature, right? And the B feature was this kind of stuff, shit that they just sold. But the point is for the money at the time, which was maybe the equivalent of about $5-6, you got a lot more entertainment than we get today, right? And a lot of people wouldn't stick around for the B feature. They'd F off and, they saw what they came to see and that was it. But we made a lot more movies as a really good result of that. There was a lot more room for people to make films. There was a lot more room for people to actually produce stuff like that. There was a market for the B film. We don't have that market anymore, right? Because A, theaters are dying. B, Netflix is all B fucking films now. So it's sort of like the home video market revived that to a certain extent. I worked in a lot of video stores when I was a young man, and I love that shit. But nowadays, it's like the magic's gone, and that's something I like about Lost Skeleton Cadavra. It taps into a magical time when film was a very different beast. Well, thank you for attending my TED Talk. Good night.
I was wondering if you had a background in the retail side of movies. I don't know if you worked at a theater. Now that you said you worked at a rental store, that makes a lot of sense.
I managed 3 rental stores in my life and worked at about 8.
About this time that the movie came out, I had 3 friends that worked at theaters. 2 of them also worked at local video stores. So it was like we just watched the hell out of movies and made it a weekly thing, and it was great. Back when you could do such things, you had physical media, you had theaters that you wanted to go to. It wasn't the streaming vomit that they're producing now.
Well, yeah,
I grew up so poor. Sorry.
Go ahead, TCG. Go ahead.
Okay. I grew up so poor that a generator was on for 2 movies a night. So that is my real extent for media. When you guys said, "Oh, theater," or "Oh, we watch so many movies," it's like, yeah, I have a very, very limited experience with movies, which is part of the reason why I'm always surprised when Bruce really wants me to watch, because it always ends up being the conversation, me sit in the back and kind of make a few comments about the movie we just watched. But most of the time when they talk about their experience as a child, I just got to sit there with my thumbs at my ass because I have virtually none.
So, sorry, what you said, what was your experience with movies as a child? What was the exact terminology you used? 2 movies a night powered by a generator. That's how poor we were. Yeah, the generator. Luxury. Let's turn this into the Yorkshireman sketch, right? I used to dream of having a generator. Right, when we wanted to watch a movie, what we had to do is take our wee cousin Larry, tie him into the treadmill, and whip him with a stick until he'd run fast enough to turn on the VCR. And he had one leg. You know, I mean, come on. Let's not do that, please. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean it to be like that. I was just making a reference to that's part of the reason why.
It fueled a good joke. Don't be anti-comedy. Come on.
I'd like to say hello to Dr.
Sorry,
Ringo.
I have a bad habit of over-explaining things. It has killed more
Yes,
than one
you
joke for me.
Yes, you do.
That's what I one thing I love about having Crafting Gamer in here, because he will go and he will be that guy that over-explains everything. I love it.
He's the guy in the movie that explains to us how the ants can get giant-sized.
Yes. Hey, Soy-based Jeremy, good to see you're doing well. No more shakes.
This is the part where we start plugging old PC games.
I have a fear that you're going to start talking about Lucasfilm games.
Who is?
Maybe.
What?
You mentioned giant ants, and I immediately started thinking of back in the 90s.
Oh, that was a Cinemaware game, wasn't it?
I want to say it was.
No, you guys are talking about video games, huh?
No,
I'm going to go make supper. You guys talk about video games. Let me know when you're talking about movies again. I'll be back.
Hello, Andrew Jackson. How you doing, sir? And
yeah, I'm simulcasting this to my channel since you have the option available.
That's perfectly fine. I leave that option there so people can do that. Flamingo says something rather impressive. Once the gear gets good / cheap enough, there's a big revival of movies made by single people and high-end PCs. A new golden age is potentially coming. I think we also are seeing that with phones and tablets.
I disagree. I will disagree with that because a lot of these people that are making these movies have no idea how story works. They have no idea how scripting works, and a lot of them have no idea how people talk because they spend all day on their computer. You know what I mean? So while the potential is there, without good writers and good directors to direct those ideas and take advantage of that technology, I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet that's made me go, holy shit, that weird little 3-minute movie I saw on YouTube made me feel something.
Yeah. I have to agree with the bear, especially on the whole...
Cool. Sorry, go ahead, TCG. Sorry.
I have to agree with the bear, especially with the whole way people talk thing. I'm writing storybooks with Shadow, and I have discovered more than once I have to go back and reword something because it sounds like the same person talking, just with different names.
Have you tried funny voices?
Because that always changes everything.
Totally.
Well, let's take Neil Blomkamp, okay? Neil Blomkamp is the king of DIY film. Live from Joburg really blew up big for him, which then led to District 9, which did very well for him, but had money behind it and is not as raw as Live from Joburg was. Then he gets tapped for Alien 5, and it looks like it's all going to go, and Chappie comes out. And Chappie bombs so damn hard, it's brutal. You know what I mean? It was brutal how badly that film failed compared to their expectation. And it failed so badly, it killed Alien 5 as a concept. The studios were just not willing to bank on that guy anymore. So here's another guy who's really good at doing DIY film. He's really good at picking up all the pieces and putting something together. But again, he lacks that basic humans communicating with each other feature that someone like Steven Spielberg is a fucking master of, you know? And if you don't have that, humans will not connect to your movie. People who like the effects will connect to it. People who like the action will connect to it. People who want to see that weird girl from that South African rap band, you know, in a panties will connect to it. But your average Joe Jane movie goer will not. And they are the people you need to connect to if you're going to turn a profit and be able to then make the movies you want to make. And that's the one thing Spielberg figured out in a really good way was, I got to do this garbage that I don't want to do to make money to do the stuff I want to do. And there's a couple of other filmmakers who do that. As they say, the third one's for me. right? Like I do 2 for them and 1 for me. But the problem is Tarantino had so much success being Tarantino. Everyone thinks they can be Tarantino or they can be Rodriguez. No, those guys were lightning in a bottle at a time when lightning in a bottle was an option. We are now at a point in the film industry where the film industry is dying. Don't ever let them tell you differently on their little talking head pieces. The film industry has become a fart-huffing circle jerk, and it's been here before. It was here in the at the end of the 60s, and it was here a little bit in the 90s when they lost their way, and now we're here again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's going to save it, but someone's going to come along.
Hopefully,
and do
it continues to be cyclical because, you know, you look at the history of film, and yeah, it's had its peaks and valleys, but there's always something that turned it around, and at least for another decade or two, it took off. And it would be really, really scary to see like this part of our culture just die off like the dinosaurs.
Well, so at the end of the 60s, you've got no one wants to see the Westerns anymore. No one wants to see the musicals anymore. No one wants to see what Hollywood's producing. And along comes Easy Rider. And Easy Rider changes things. And then suddenly the exploitation films that you're starting to see get made start to become something that the mainstream taps into. And we get to our ultimate version of that, which is Jaws. Jaws is just a Corman film with a budget and good dialogue because of the book it was based on and the time taken to write the script. But at the end of the day, you know, Jaws is just a fucking Corman monster film on paper. But it connects, it resonates, and suddenly Hollywood has a whole new area that they can go and explore in. So they start, and for good or bad, we got good stuff, we got bad stuff. Heaven's Gate comes to mind. The 80s, because mainstream culture had taken such a, what they call the malaise of the Carter administration, right? Mm-hmm. The 80s were about men on film again all of a sudden, right? So you get Stallone, you get Bronson, you get Schwarzenegger, you get these big action pieces, whether they're sci-fi, fantasy, or modern, doesn't matter, but they're giving us the Reagan years on film, right? The idea of American exceptionalism through the barrel of a gun or through the punch of a fist or a kick to the head or whatever it is. And it does really well, but it dries up. Last Action Hero being, which a movie I like, being the final chapter of that entire run. So the 90s kind of farts around a little bit, and then someone realizes the Tarantino stuff is really working. And I can tell you right now, as an actor who was auditioning in the 90s in Vancouver, I got so sick of fucking going to auditions where I was auditioning for a criminal who was giving some pontification about some piece of pop culture while eating pie and killing someone at the end of the scene. But that was like just a repetitive audition I was going through at the time. It was just so much of that garbage. And by the 2000s, that ran out of steam. And no one knew what the fuck to do until Marvel movies came along. And Marvel movies suddenly revitalized the entire film industry again. Then suddenly movies are making $1 billion fucking dollars, where 5 years early crossing 200 million was an accomplishment. Now we're at the end of the Marvel run. Star Wars has been dead since Jedi, but that's neither here nor there. And no one knows what the fuck to do with movies again. No one knows what the people want because the people don't know what they want. No, we've tribalized so much in Western culture into us-them camps. There's nothing coming out that can unify us all together and make us go, oh yeah, our generation went to see that movie. You know, there's no Rambo, there's no Star Wars, there's no Jaws, there's no I don't know what else, Reservoir Dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like we're sort of missing something that can bring a generation together. But here's the thing: us are not the market.
Nope.
We are not what Hollywood's looking to tap into or what film industry is going to tap into. We are old men. They don't care what we think. It's the 18-year-olds, the 16-year-olds, the 17-year-olds, the 15-year-olds. That's who they care about because they're the ones that can keep things going for a while.
Were we the target market when The Expendables debuted in 2009?
The Expendables is a how do you put The Expendables in terms?
Boomer shooter?
Remember,
I was going to say the Stella Trip.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember that. That was good. You know, it's not a good movie. I've seen Expendables. It's not a good movie. It's just sort of like a, hey, 80s guys, remember when these guys were like worth money? Let's see them all together now. You know, it's like, okay, that movie would have been way better in 1989.
Yeah.
You know? Hence why I love Tango and Cash. Because you got Kurt Russell and you got Sylvester Stallone. Now, there's rumor that Russell was supposed to be Schwarzenegger. And then he backed out at the last minute. I believe to do Last Boy Scout, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But the point is that I don't know what's coming next. My entire movie watching experience these days is about 90% rewatching stuff I love and 10% trying new stuff people recommend to me, which is either hit or miss. And mostly horror. Because that's a pretty safe genre for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hard Times brings up the horror movies.
The 80s were the golden, is part of the golden age. You should count your blessings every day, Bear, that you got to live through that. I only got to live through the very, very end of it, and it was great. Yeah, by that point in time, it sucked, Mr. Mackey. The end of the 80s was awful. But it started real well.
We got a nice back catalog to peruse through. So
I part of me wants to turn the review channel or the review show into nothing but reviewing canon films and 80s action movies because I enjoy that type of schlock, but a lot of my friends are doing the same thing and they're experiencing, their little YouTube success, but I don't want to copy what they're doing. I'd rather just let me find something from the 1940s or 1930s or some new film like Hundreds of Beavers. And I think that's working better for me. I know that might not show up on the numbers for YouTube, but I don't give a shit about the numbers for YouTube. I'm the one.
Then review The Apple.
The Apple?
The greatest canon film ever made.
The Apple.
Yeah, back when it was Golan Globus.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it's fucking madness on film. It's basically an early 80s Menachem Golan's idea of, I don't know what the fuck, a musical fairy tale or something, and it's so fucking bizarre. The riff tracks on it is genius. It's one of the best riff tracks you can ever watch. But that movie is pure fucking woo-woo.
It's got Catherine Mary Stewart in it.
It's Catherine Mary Stewart's first film.
Yeah, I'm looking at the preview on IMDb right now. This will replace Jim Cotta in December.
Jim Cotta? No, you can't replace Jim Kaka. Jim Kaka's the greatest. Me and my buddies, all the martial arts guys, we used to watch any martial arts film that came out. And we got to Jim Kaka, and we were just like, "What the fuck is this?" And our favorite thing were the signpost ninjas directing them around everywhere. Like guys in ninja costumes are like, "Why are the ninjas signposts? What the hell's going on?" Hey, look, pommel horse, middle of the town square. That's convenient.
Parmesan, man.
Alleyway. I hope there's a bar across that he can use. Sorry, I apologize, Six Nations.
It's all right. I love Jim Cotta.
Oh, I love Jim Cotta, but I have no illusions about it being a good movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got.
So is this the Apple? Is it in the same vein as like Repo Man and other off the wall movies?
No. Repo Man is good. Repo Man has.
Oh, so this is like Liquid Sky, perhaps.
This is high production, glitzy. It's the 80s, but as far as we're concerned, the 70s are still happening. Musical. It's like low budget Xanadu.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And forever and after you watch it, for know where you go in life, you will have these words stuck in your singing head. Hey, 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 Bim's on the way. Oh, that'll be stuck in your head forever. But watch it with riff tracks. I assure you, you will feel much less pain if you watch it with riff tracks. I've done both, and now I will only watch it with riff tracks.
Principal photography took place in late '79 in West Berlin.
Yep.
So we're clear.
Holy smokes.
Rift Tracks is similar to like
MST3K.
It's
So
the
basically,
new
when
version.
MST3K died, there were two offshoots: Cinematic Titanic and Rift Tracks. Cinematic Titanic was basically Joel trying to continue his thing and doing the best he could as Joel, whereas Mike Nelson and the other two, the second Crow and the second Tom Servo, they do Rift Tracks, where they just watch the movie with an audio track for you to listen to them picking on the film. Both are great. Both are great. There is a Cinematic Titanic called East Meets Watts, which will have you in stitches at like just the jokes they're making about the 70s while they're watching it. You know what I mean? It's fucking amazing. But Rift Tracks has a big catalog, stuck around, and is still going to this day. And Rift Tracks is awesome. And you can actually go buy the riffs as just an audio track for the stuff they can't release with the film attached to it, and sync it up yourself and watch your copy of the movie with the Rift Tracks track playing. They do live shows, which are very popular, and they usually stream them into theaters through these events. Rarely come to Montreal. They're only ever in Toronto, so I don't get to go to them, sadly. But I'd say Rift Tracks is the superior evolution of Mystery Science Theater.
Okay. See, I've heard of Cinematic Titanic and didn't realize that was Joel.
Yeah. Cinematic Titanic is Joel, Frank, Trace Ballou, Mary Jo Pell, and the guy who played the original Tom Servo.
Okay.
Great stuff. I mean, it's all great stuff.
So
You just got first season versus later on crews doing their thing. All in the same universe. All good stuff.
Are you talking about the modern Mystery Science Theater on Netflix?
No.
Okay. That doesn't exist. That's a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that.
We're not aware of what?
Just that Cinematic Titanic was actually Joel. That kind of makes me happy that Joel's got his own thing. And I'm also sad because he's not with Mike and the other guys from Rift Tracks.
Yeah, but at the same time, Joel is part of the new Mystery Science Theater, right? Like, he's gone back to that now. Even though he's not the host, he's the producer on it and one of the writers. It's his baby. He owns it. Sadly, so one of the problems, again, we're way off topic at this point. One of the big problems with Rift Tracks was that Joel himself is not as funny as Joel thinks he is. And having guys like Trace Ballou there, who are also writers, or Mary Jo Pell, and Mike Nelson was a writer, brought different types of humor to the stage that Joel might not have found funny, but other people would find funny. So there was always jokes that would hit or miss for you, right? With the new Mystery Science Theater, Joel's in charge of everything, so it's all his humor. So it's not as funny as it could be, sadly. There's a topic, Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
Which is a fun movie. It's definitely got its charm.
It's got Animala, man. Rower.
Every time she popped up on screen, I couldn't help it, man. She's my second favorite part of the movie, which I don't know if that was just because she's such a sexual little beast or if the fact that she's just delightfully having fun with this show. I could not tell.
Brian Howe's my favorite part of that, Dr. Fleming. He's so funny. Skeletons always hated me, even as a child. What? What? Jesus Christ.
I was thinking while we were watching this, I was like, I might want to actually turn this into the Rumble portion, because on Rumble you can stream older stuff and give an audio track riffing on it if you so choose. I haven't seen anybody get taken down yet. They just hide the video after it's over. But
excuse me, I'm thirsty. Tip, 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 tip. Fold yourself in the middle. Uh-huh.
Look at that
Brad,
skeleton go.
Yeah, exactly. Ranger Brad, I'm a scientist. I don't believe in anything.
Rest in peace, Ranger Brad. Rest in peace.
What flavor do you have in the vape?
It's a mix of vanilla and pear. Aliens? Us? Is this one of your Earth jokes? You'll have to forgive my wife. Sometimes she forgets that she is not a space alien.
The humor, like it didn't have a high incident rate. I think if the movie would have been a little bit funnier, if they would have got their pacing down on the jokes a little bit more frequently, I think this movie would be a grand slam. It's funny as hell.
Definitely. The costumes that they did were pretty spot on. Monster was cheesy, had that Sid and Marty Croft feel to it. The spacesuits.
Yeah. It had that Fran and Kukla, type thing. Fran Ollie and Kukla feel. Kukla.
The fact that they took a regular Halloween skeleton and gave it so much personality, kudos to them. That was awesome.
Yes. Stop that giggling. It makes me uncomfortable.
There's I don't know. I'm just kind of flummoxed for the fact that like this is one of those movies that within 7 minutes I could give my entire dissertation. I've got another hour and a half of dead air. Thank you guys for joining me. So it's not dead air, but I mean it's a funny fucking film, and I'm happy that there's multiple places on the internet where you can tune into it, find it, watch it, and not be out of any money on pocket. But if you so choose to donate to them, Mr. Lumiere will take your money. He's made other films. I was hoping that I saw a trailer for The Screaming Forehead, and I was not impressed.
I saw The Screaming Forehead. I was not impressed. And by the way, for those who are asking, this is just nicotine. I don't consume drugs anymore. I'm clean and sober. If it were, it would be sativa because I don't like indicas. But I don't smoke weed no more, and I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball.
Oh, the 90s.
I cannot wait. She will help me. The housewife won. Hi, Betty. Jesus Christ, that movie. Like that's what makes the movie so good is the little quotes you can have in it, right? I rewatched Clue last night, having not watched it for a few years. And that's the same type of thing. It's just the little moments that make you go,
Now, is Clue good for multiple watches, or do you watch
God,
that?
yes. Oh,
okay.
God, yes. There are jokes you missed, for sure, if you've only seen Clue once or twice.
Okay.
See, I hated her so much. Fucking Madeline Kahn was brilliant in that movie. Get off me.
Yeah, that's her. Madeline Kahn's awesome.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah, what hurt was when I just watched Blazing Saddles for the 30th or 34th time, and then I find out she passed. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She was young.
Well,
she was.
Was she in her 50s when she went?
I think so.
She wore blue velvet. She was 57 when she passed. That's so sad.
Mm-hmm. Still looking like $1 million.
Yeah.
Speaking of Blue Velvet, have you done a review on Blue Velvet?
Me? No. I have not. What about Bear? Has Bear done a review? I don't think Bear does reviews.
I don't because I'm lazy. It takes effort.
I like to watch. That's my thing. I like to watch.
One of my favorite channels to watch right now is Popcorn in Bed. It's just this
Oh.
bored housewife chick who watches movies, and she's actually fun. And I got to see her watching Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
And man, there's that moment when Ricardo Montalban turns around, he takes off his coat, and you can see his pecs, that she literally just went, oh, like this, watching it. And all I thought was, well,
Yeah,
she just
no prosthetics. That's all Ricardo.
Yeah, but you watch her review of it, and you watch a woman have a Genesis effect in her panties because she's just like, oh, like just the manliness of Ricardo Montalban punches her right
Yeah.
Mr. Rourke on steroids.
Pure Montalban. That's what he said.
Christ.
Yeah.
What happened?
The
Lost my
thing
mic
is
for a
that go ahead.
Testing.
I'll be right back.
We can hear you, Six Nations, or at least I can.
Thank you. I got like this malformed ear canal, and the one earbud doesn't want to fit. And all the adjustable rubber pieces are either too big or too small. Blame all the drugs my parents did before I was born.
I just realized something. Well, given the fact I knew I wouldn't have too much to bring to the conversation, plus I can do this practically in my sleep, I'm gathering supplies on Subnautica, one of the best underwater horror games ever made. And it's never intentional.
I actually
awesome
really
game.
like Subnautica. I just haven't played it yet all the way through. I've gotten through the first probably 30% of it, and it's fun.
Well, the first 30% isn't where the horror aspects come in. It's probably I'd say the last 60%, given what I've learned of the game.
I swam off of this shelf down a little bit, and I found a big fucking fish, and I died. So I'd like to say that I did find the horror in the game, yes.
Just the idea of doing that creeps me the hell out, because like the sea is something that we haven't fully explored, so who knows what the hell's down there.
This game taught me that this game taught me I actually have I forgot what it's called, that condition where you are terrified of the ocean, where you're terrified of water you can't see through.
I get to experience that myself at the age of 38. I'm good. went to the ocean with my family, my cousins, and all that, and we're having fun, trying to drop weight, not doing too well with that, and walking along, and all of a sudden I noticed that there's Man-O-War, and its tendril is like there's a 40% arc or 40-degree arc to my left where I see Man-O-War tendril, and so I just kind of start like deciding to reverse, get the hell away, leave, and I realize I'm past the second sandbar, and that's when I panic, because I start just paddling madly back towards shore, and I had gone about a third of a mile past where I entered the ocean, the beach at, because the current was that strong, and I'm like, I really don't like this. I'm never going out in the ocean again.
That's how I feel in the real world. I don't need a video game to teach me that bullshit.
No, I got to experience that myself without a video game. And then the year before, I had caught like a reef shark, and a friend of mine told me what I need to do in order to get it to stop moving, stop being a biting, thrashing mess. And that was just scary. But I managed to lop its head off and then stake it out. It was delicious when we got it home, but I really don't want to do it again. I'm good. I did it once. I peed myself.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Totally judging you.
Go ahead.
You're a doctor. You might have early onset diabetes.
I could accept that. with my bacon intake, I could accept that.
Bacon will not give you diabetes.
No, it won't, but it tastes great.
And it still won't
This is
give you
not
diabetes.
medical advice, by the way.
No, but bacon will not give you diabetes. Carbs and sugar, which carbs is sugar. That's what gives you diabetes. Plus, you have to have the genetic markers for it, which you may or may not, which is why some skinny people get diabetes and some fat people don't. It's just the way of the world.
I know it runs in my family because my aunt has the genetic type, I think.
No, she have type 1 or type 2?
I can't remember.
Type 1's the one you're born with. Type 2 is the type you develop.
Oh, okay. Well, I know she developed it. She wasn't born with it.
That's type 2 diabetes. You have to have the genetic marker. So I am diabetic, and I went through about 5 years of learning everything I could about diabetes so I could, hopefully live longer. And that was the big takeaway from it all, is that if you do not have the genetic markers for diabetes, type 2 diabetes, you will not develop it. Hence, my best friend is 500 pounds, eats garbage, and while he's fat and his heart isn't happy, he doesn't have diabetes. And, and every time he sees his doctor, they're shocked. they do the blood test. They're like, how are you not diabetic?
Yeah, well, after finding out about my aunt, I kind of cut a lot of carbs and sugar out of my diet naturally. It either scared me or I just naturally lost the taste. I don't know which, but either way, sugar doesn't taste as good to me anymore.
Well, also food doesn't taste as good anymore, so keep that in mind too, right?
Fair.
But anyway, back to movies.
So this movie starts off, and I immediately recognize where they're filming at, because for some odd reason I've seen this all before, and they filmed this. And majority of this was done at Bronson Canyon.
Yeah,
that's the biggest expense in the entire movie, is getting a permit to film there.
Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar with this, there's Attack of the Crab Monsters, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Spider, They Conquered the World, The Brain from
Hundreds of films and TV have filmed there.
Night of the Blood Beast, Return of Dracula, Robot Monster, Teenage Caveman, and Teenagers from Outer Space. And additionally, in the 1960s, they filmed the Batman TV series there, because that was the exit from the Batcave.
You know the most common thing said in the movie is?
Science.
Oh, well. Almost every character at one point in that film says, oh, well.
That is awesome. The female alien, I can't place her right off the top of my head, but I know I've seen her in a lot of movies, including actual good movies.
I don't think she's actually been in a whole lot. She just has a very familiar look to her.
So that would be
Gladys.
Actress is who played
Susan
McConnell. She was in all of his movies, and that's about it. She looks like a Canadian actress that was quite popular in the 80s and did a lot of stuff in 80s TV stuff shot by Americans here. But that lady's skinnier, but they have this very similar facial features.
Yeah.
Was she in the Degrassi television shows?
No, sir. No, sir. You know, we make other shit in Canada, and I specifically said stuff that Americans shoot here. You guys didn't shoot fucking Degrassi.
All I know is about Degrassi Junior High, freaking Stargate, SG-1, and Strange Brew. I'm sorry.
About shot in Canada? X-Files, Millennium.
Canadian stuff. No, that could be like Washington.
Which ones did you say?
Stargate, SG-1.
That's not Canadian. That's
Degrassi.
American.
And then
Degrassi's us. Strange Brew was a movie, but yeah, that was us. But it was, whatever. Yes, beard on beard. When you have a manly beard,
Kanakistan.
You gotta brush it. Soviet Kanakistan. Sir. Get it right. It's Soviet Kanakistan, sir. The Soviet Socialist Republics of Kanakistan.
I think the show I know the most about from Canada is the one that was basically made for Americans. Red Green.
That is the most American Canadian show I've ever seen.
That just made me think of Fishmasters. Holy crap. Like if Beavis and Butthead were fishermen.
Well, at least you're not talking about Letterkenny. That makes me happy, I suppose.
I don't
You
even
don't
know
like
what that
Letterkenny?
is.
That makes me happy hearing him say that.
What?
He doesn't even know what it is because, like, every time I used to pull up last year on YouTube, the short, there would be 4 shorts on my phone that I could scroll past, and one of them would be Letterkenny.
Did you just go underwater?
No.
Oh, wow. Your mic just made like sound. That was really weird. You know, I think more movies should be filmed in the Miracle of Skeletorama.
They should.
Have you seen the sequel? I haven't seen the sequel. Have you guys seen it yet?
No, I just learned that there was a sequel a while ago, and I'm on the hunt for it now.
And there's a third one that he kickstarted, but it hasn't been made yet.
Yeah, the whole skeleton trilogy. That's epic.
And you said Dark and Stormy Night was funny, huh?
Yeah. It was mildly alcohol induced, so my perception could be off. But at the time, I enjoyed it. So hopefully I get to see it and not have to wait another 20 years before seeing it again. Because I really enjoy the Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. But it does show a little bit of wear since the last time that I saw it. Not to say it's bad. It's just, like you guys said, it went on for a little bit longer than the punchline held.
Yeah, the movie's definitely longer than the joke.
All right. I'm seeing a bunch of streams where Lost Skeleton returns again, but nothing that's quote unquote free. I will have to go and ask Boris if he has it on his server.
Dolores.
Boris. Our friend from overseas. Occasionally we give him Slavata.
Cool.
Now this was definitely one of the more interesting films I've watched. Sorry about that, Flighty. I didn't mean to sound underwater.
Bring me the head of Charlie Brown.
I rise. Sorry, what?
So if I want to ask our chat if they've seen The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, go ahead, post your review score up into the chat if you've seen this movie before. I want to know who among you have seen this.
I'll give you mine.
Yes.
I give it 3 skeletons out of 5 animalas.
Ungar, I was thinking of you today when I was in the closet.
You were thinking of Hungar in the closet? Hungar, come out.
Context.
Hour.
Hey, I didn't have to say anything. I'm wearing the shirt. Hungar stabs the snake.
Yeah, I love that expression too. It's just classic Hungar right there.
So, Flatey, I had the biggest crush on Moose when I was a kid. It was insane how big my crush on Moose was.
Wait, from You Can't Do That on Television?
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I was a kid, I had the crush on her.
Okay, I take that back. There's also You Can't Do That on Television.
Listen, there's more Canadian shit you've seen than you realize.
Yeah. I was watching one show. God, what was it? It was
Rumble in the Bronx?
Had to do with Dracula and frickin' Frankenstein. And then there was a science bit.
Oh, you're talking about
what the hell was that show?
Frankenstein. The hilarious
Yes.
House of Frankenstein. Ooga booga.
And it was during COVID, and somebody had uploaded a bunch of old programs from like the 70s, 80s, and that was on there. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
I think that's the late 60s, early 70s. We used to watch them when we were kids. We loved it.
Yeah.
So, Base Jeremy, I take exception. I'm the best Canadian.
Wow, Christine McGlade. She is wow.
When she was, I was the right age for Moose to break my heart. Let me tell you.
Hmm.
They also had a young Alanis Morissette before she became famous.
Well, the less we say about that, the better.
Whatever happened to Alistair?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just curious. Like, where are they now? What are they doing? Are they doing anything?
I know you talk about spiders occasionally, Bear. Have you ever seen one that's roaming your house like it's a fucking meth addict looking for its next fix? I got I'm in my shed for like 3 days now doing exactly that.
I'm an arachnophobe, so I'm not really into talking about spiders, if that's okay with you.
I don't dislike spiders. I know that they have a purpose, but if they get to be a certain size, I'm going to town with my boots.
All the spiders in my apartment have the rule explained to them clearly, which is this. If I catch you in the bathroom, you die. Or go to Atlantis, whatever's handier. Me crushing you with something or spraying water till you go down the drain.
Yeah, that happened to me
yes,
last week.
Bruce, I see your attempts, Bruce. You're very funny. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. All I know is that a couple times you've talked about your cats hunting them down.
Yes, and I encourage them to. Often. There's a really big fucker outside my window. He's about like this big, and he's got a big bulbous back. And I'm like, fuck, why does he live here? Get him away. Go away. Random bird or creature, come eat him, please.
Yeah, it was the first couple of years that I lived up here, and I wasn't aware of the flora and fauna completely. I had an assumption.
Where?
In the Idaho region of the U.S.
Yeah, you must have some fun fucking spiders out there.
Because, I came from California, and I lived on the coast, so we had, like, occasional scorpions, but not very large spiders. I mean, yeah, there was tarantulas and whatnot, but that was like you go to Alum Rock Park to see the black and red tarantulas. And I never did that but once. So one night I wake up to use the bathroom and I do my business and I'm coming back and I see in the dark what appears to be something about the size of a silver dollar or larger, but it's a black shape and it's moving awfully quick, like a spider. And I turn on the light, and I look underneath the coffee table, or I thought I saw it, didn't see it. And I'm thinking, okay, figment of my imagination, going back to bed. Then later on, a couple days later, I see it again, and it goes underneath the couch. And we had this big, massive couch that was too heavy to really lift by one person. So, like, I figured, okay, it escaped. Whatever. Then like a month later, I wake up, I look at the wall, and there it is on the wall. And it looks like a frickin' tarantula. And I am scared shitless, like, holy crap. Because, tarantulas have the potency of bees, and I'm allergic to bees, so theoretically, if I get bit by a tarantula, I could have an anaphylactic shock. And so I went and got the hardwood floor mop that we have, and I went and swatted the son of a bitch. Thought I smashed it against the wall, ended up bending the bar on the mop. But no, it survived. It just got stunned. So I scooped it up and I flicked it outside. And as it was coming to and trying to run away, I ended up smashing the hell out of it with the back end of the mop handle and squished it. All sorts of goo came out. It reminded me of Starship Troopers. So then I was curious, like, what the hell was that?
Why
so
is this going on?
Like,
why does this story not have an end? Please.
It's getting there. So then I found out that it's a type of jumping spider, a massive fucking jumping spider. Like, jumping spiders that I've come across are about the size of my pinky nail. Little tiny cute things that get animated on the interwebs and do the little dance with like the crabs and shit. But yeah, this thing was a freaking massive jumping spider.
Did you not get the thing where I said I'm an arachnophobe?
Oh, sorry, slipped my mind.
Jesus H. Christ, man.
Anyhow, I killed it.
Congratulations.
And I felt good about myself.
Yeah, you're all fucking hilarious. You better pray I never find out what you're afraid of. Right.
I'm sorry, Bear.
Oh my God.
Just listen, I've implored for you to come visit South Texas one of these days. Knowing this now, don't do that.
Never.
Never.
There are places in this world I will never go because of spiders
Australia.
and humans.
Australia.
Yes, Australia's top of the fucking list. New Zealand's on it as well. Texas, parts of California,
Jungles.
the entirety of Nevada.
Anything with jungle.
Anything with you, South America as a whole.
You don't want to come to Idaho either, then.
No, I
Anyway.
really don't. For many reasons. Remember I said spiders and people.
Yeah.
I really like.
But,
I don't
but we
mind.
serve a wicked steak fry. You'd love
Hey,
it.
soy-based Jeremy, fucking with someone's phobias isn't funny. It's mean. Please stop. Jesus Christ, guys. Like, a phobia is an irrational fear. It's not rational. It causes an anxious reaction in our brain. Any of you guys got any phobias that you have to deal with in your life?
Heights.
Ice?
Heights.
Heights. Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
But back to the skeleton of Cadavra. The reason why I thought the skeleton was meant to be the central point of sanity was his first comment. I am literally a skeleton with a living skeleton brain. You retard. Or whatever it is he said. So that immediately hooked me onto the skeleton is actually at least somewhat sane compared to everyone else.
That makes me wonder about a skeletonized brain. What does that look like?
I didn't really worry about the skeletonized brain because I was still stumbling over the fact that we had the scientist that was wandering around turning wild animals into the Little Women. And I'm like, this is not going to end well. As much as you want it to end well, this will not end well.
Well, if you've seen The Black Cat.
I can understand why the director married her. That's all I'm going to say. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was really good. Bear, I did not get your review of, but your quote unquote your grade of the film. How would you grade this?
I said 3 skeletons out of 5 animals.
3. Okay. 3 skeletons. Yeah.
Animal is hot, man. I don't know, like she could be a total pain in the ass as a human being, the actress, but she's hot.
Yeah, she's plenty hot. Crafting. What did you think of the film?
I'd have to give it a 3 out of 5, basically for the same reason Bear did. The skeleton is the best part of the movie. The girl, I'd say actually the girl's the third best part. The second best part is the mutant, because that was both cheap and awesome of a costume to have had made.
agree with that. I really liked Skeleton. I thought the Skeleton, like, you guys know my favorite fucking bad guy of all time is Skeletor. And when we first started berating them, I am literally a skeleton. Like,
He's
I could go ahead.
in that wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. My rating, I'd say it's like a 70%. It wasn't like 5 mediocre. It was a little bit better than above mediocre. It was enjoyable. Production value was great. The dialogue was great. And then, like I said, it's one of those beer and pretzel movies. Get your friends involved, get some schlock. This being one of those schlock movies, and go have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't take it too seriously.
No. I'm going to score this movie as 75 because of Ranger Brad and Dr. Roger Fleming, Dan Conroy, and Brian Howe make wonderful side absurdist characters. And then you have the aliens of Andrew Parks playing Crowbar and Susan McConnell playing Lattice. And they're kind of waiting for their cue as to how to eat these platefuls of food. And fucking Animalia goes face down first and starts slurping the shit away. And I couldn't help it. I just laughed. I wanted to pause the movie and just sit there and spin in this stupid chair for about a minute laughing at that absurdist bullshit. But I couldn't because this is a public thing. We got people here watching this, and they're not here with me to watch me act like a fool while I laugh my ass off. So I like, okay, that's fine. But I'm going to probably watch this movie again tomorrow because it's got some funny fucking gags in it. The dialogue is good. It's witty enough to watch a warrant a second rewatch, okay? Or a rewatch. Your first rewatch is your second time viewing. And I could watch this movie again. The two leads, Faye Masterson and Larry Blamire, they're funny. And the fact that they did all this on $140,000, I have to repeat that. They did all this on $140,000. Granted, the rocket doesn't look that great. The rocket looks like a model kit that Reaper would sell you. Because of the color grading being black and white and the perspective, it could be a foot tall, it could be 10 feet tall. But it looks cheesy enough. And this movie, like I said, is 75%. I feel like I'm scoring it pretty accurately. And I want to see what Larry Lemire, or whatever this guy's name is, the director, I want to see what his sequel is. Soy-Based Jeremy, it's on YouTube. This is on YouTube. It's fucking good.
I'm glad that it popped up on YouTube because, like, a couple of years ago, in the midst of COVID, I was looking for it and couldn't find it, and I was thinking, "Damn, I'm gonna have to go and buy it." And then one day, it just popped up, and I was like, "Oh, there we go, scratch the itch." And then I forgot about it, and it wasn't until I think a month or two ago, or whenever I had suggested that we watch it. I'm like, this would probably be a good movie.
Really enjoyable.
Had you not seen it before, Bruce?
Never.
Ah.
I'm sorry. I was very entertained by this film. It got a little bit more street cred when you popped up and were like, "Hey, I want to talk about this movie with you."
Why the fuck does that give it street cred?
Because, like, you're Bear, and I know you're just. I'm nobody special. Hold on, sir. There's a lot of people think pretty highly of you in our little community here.
Okay, cool. I've seen bears do things that, well, bears wouldn't do.
True.
That's my favorite Ranger Dan line in the whole movie.
Bear, do this?
I thought Ranger Brad was great.
Was it Bear mutilate? Horribly mutilate?
Mutilate? Mutant? I wonder.
So, this is probably one of the shorter streams we've done for reviewing a movie, unless we want to just BS. But in all honesty, this film, for me, like, I'd just be repeating things. I'm going to tell you guys to watch this movie. Just do a search for it. It'll pop up. Hour and a half, 92 minutes, including credits. It's in, out, funny as shit. You'll have a lot of laughs. There's a lot of stuff. If you are into the production of films, you're going to see this stuff, and you're probably going to smack your head because there's a lot of in jokes in this. And then, like I said before, like the beginning of the film, part of the film takes place in that canyon, and that's a very famous location. Oh, Janet's here.
You ever seen The Stupids?
Not yet.
I will give that as a recommendation for you. Wait, Janet's here, but she's not a bro. Janet, are you keeping
She's got
secrets?
boobies and will increase the
Pro on what?
production value.
Well, the show's called Bros Discussing Movies. Are you a bro?
No. Well, I guess I can't.
Well, she wants to enslave so many people in high level games. She could be a bro.
No, I'm not pro.
Wait, are we supposed to be all like,
you are from another
dude,
planet,
bro? Good to see your shining face. We missed you.
Never
Good.
tell a woman her face is shiny. Oh my God, no.
I've missed all of you guys. Yeah, it's sweaty here. I mean, the humidity is really high and it rains all the time. But it's nice.
Took a shower Monday, Friday, still not dry.
No, never dried out. But she's got a gorgeous tub I've been using every day since I've been here. So it's been nice. I'll miss that.
Is it the type of tub that you can have both your boobs and your knees underwater?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I asked that, Bear, is that's a bathtub that every woman I've ever been with has desired. That's the tub. They want it to be a deep well tub, an artesian tub that you could sink a small child in.
Yeah.
Casey Anthony would be
It's
happy.
like an old-time wash tub.
Yes.
But it's white. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Awesome.
So
Sounds like my grandparents' hot tub.
Talking about the movie already?
Most of the discussion of the movie I've gotten out of I'm not finished talking about it. I'd still be more than happy to talk about it, but there's a lot of parts of the movie that I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen it. And I don't think a lot of people have seen it.
Have you seen it, Janet?
No, I saw the very ending where some guy took his mask off and he was like a creature and then the skeleton. That was it. I tried to
That was the very end credits then. Yeah.
Sorry.
So if you like Ed Wood movies, Plan 9 from Outer Space, that sort of thing, just old-timey 50s sci-fi, Catwomen of the Moon would be a good one.
I never saw that one.
I'm saving it for my big underwater finale.
This is one of those movies where you're going to appreciate it because it's an homage to all that. Great.
Agreed, Papa Cotton.
I'll have to send you a picture of it. So I think I took a picture and shared it with everybody.
God, thirsty. So, Ellie, go get a drink.
Oh. Yeah, he doesn't know us very well.
Yeah, when you fill this tub up, your water heater's struggling for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome.
My grandparents had one of those ginormous iron clawfoot tubs. Like, I wish we had swiped it when they got rid of the house.
Yeah.
But, like, where are you going to put a freaking 1,000-pound tub? And I used to slide on the back like it was a water slide.
So look, I'm 6'3", and I love taking a bath, but most tubs are not designed for me. That's just life. But when I was in college, we rented an apartment, me and 3 friends, that had a 6-foot long bathtub with a sloping back. Oh my God, that was heaven. And it was about 2.5 feet wide. It was amazing how big this tub was. It was so nice.
That sounds amazing.
My
What?
Go ahead.
Say hi to Janet? All right, you can come say hi to Janet. Janet Beans came to say hi to you.
Hi, baby. So pretty.
Beans, don't fall for her trap.
So pretty.
It's a trap, Beans. Beans.
I used to have a cat that was solid black like that years and years ago.
See? You're replaceable by the other cat. Don't fall for her tricks.
I miss him. I named him Spanky.
She's an enchantress. She's going to steal you with magic.
Oh,
Nah, you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck. I know you
love
don't.
kitties. I love cats.
And they love you with mustard.
Yeah, no, seriously. A
No,
dog
they
will
don't
protect
like
your
you.
body. A dog will protect your body, and when you get buried, they'll go to your grave and sleep on your grave. A cat will
Yeah.
eventually eat your eyes and cheeks.
Yeah. Well, it's survival of the fittest.
Yeah, we'll call it
These are
that.
tacos for the kitties.
There's an absolute fantastic 4-panel cartoon I saw on Facebook that I've shared many times. It's an angel in the first panel saying, "I give to you a pet that is loyal and wonderful and will make your world great." And there's a dog, and it's shining, and its eyes are wide. It's amazing. Next panel is Satan looking around. Next panel is him just holding up a cat. Cats are legit from hell.
Well,
Sure, you're evil.
that's why the cats
Reminds me
will.
of a. Go ahead.
I said the cats will inherit the earth because of that.
No, they won't, because they still can't beat raccoons.
Well, they'll outlast dogs, I think.
That I give you, but raccoons will inherit the earth.
I actually think that if the cats and dogs work together, they will take out the raccoons. Because most
I
dogs
know.
I know,
Raccoons.
I've seen plenty of hound dogs rip apart a raccoon. And
Well, there is one advantage raccoons have that the cats and the dogs miss. Their hands. A raccoon's hand is both human-shaped, human-like. They can actually have a semi-opposable thumb, and they actually have the sensitivity enough to actually put their hands in the muck and actually pull out shellfish without having to see it.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
my sister used to have a pair of raccoons, and they used to clean everybody's furniture. You know, you take them over, and they'd clean all the cracks on all the chairs and the sofa, find stuff underneath cabinets and stuff that you've been missing for a long time, because they have really good hands that can get in every little crevice. But I sent you a picture of the bathtub, Bruce, in your Discord.
all right.
If you want to,
Everyone will be disappointed that you're not in it, Janet.
No, it's when I first got here. I went, holy shit, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's nice. Nice bathtub.
This stream has been brought to you by Mr. Bubble.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
That is a nice deep bathtub.
And that little thing on the side there has a little wand you can take and rinse your hair and stuff with. It's really, really fancy. And then
Well, you
next
better be
to
able
that,
to rinse after bathing.
yeah, and then the next to that is a huge shower with all the little heads that go up and down, and it's got a hand rinser and all that stuff. So it's really fancy.
Can you strap wheels on it and make it into a bathtub racer?
Probably if you wanted to, but it probably wouldn't have plumbing then.
Well, no. That would slow it down.
Yeah, but then you would, yeah, but you couldn't take a bath in it anymore. I wouldn't want to ruin it.
Steer it into a lake. Call it an even day. Come on.
And then it would stink because there's a hole in it.
Well,
But it's okay.
my God. Your engineering skills are seriously in doubt now that you wouldn't patch the hole.
Well, you didn't say that. You said it was a
I
racer.
said make it into a bathtub racer. You're gonna have to do some
Yeah,
work,
but
lady.
a racer is like a soapbox derby vehicle. You know, when you race on the ground, not in the water. It's not a boat race.
Janet tends to be very literal.
Clearly.
I'm definitely
Welcome-
not.
Big Timon from Lion
welcome
King.
to On the Spectrum. Tonight our guests are
Yeah, I'm on the spectrum, all right.
As long as it's not an EV vehicle, because those things they burn, and that's scary.
Yeah, it hurt you. Might peel something off your body from the friction.
Now, next week, we're not going to be doing this. I'm going to be on call with work. I probably will be busy because we are a 4-day work week next week, and somebody's got to do that 5th day of work. That will probably be me. However, on the 15th of September, there is a viewing that we will watch the first half of the documentary In Search of Tomorrow in our Discord.
Nice.
Janet will be excited about that. You've seen this. You actually own it, don't you, Bear?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Digitally, only digitally. I don't have a physical copy.
It is a worthwhile piece. It really is. They do so much with the budget to interview every single person they can that's of note. They interview a few people that I'm surprised that they're interviewed. I wasn't expecting Barry Bostwick to be in it, but
Why not?
I guess he doesn't come across to me as even like a big time regional star.
Barry
he's
Bostwick was in Megaforce, sir, and
I know.
Tron.
I know.
I will fight you.
He was also in one of my
Wow,
favorite.
they have a laundry list of actors and actresses.
Is he the actor that was in Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No.
That is no. Is that Barry Bostwick? No, that's yeah, that is Barry Bostwick.
It says, everybody says
Ferris
Superman.
Bueller.
He's the lover of Janet Weiss.
Barry Bostwick was who the hell is Barry Bostwick in Ferris Bueller?
No. I'm thinking of the guy that was in Ferris Bueller. What the hell was
Which
his
guy?
name?
Oh,
The
he was
guy
in
that was Ferris's best buddy. And I can't think of his name right now.
Fucking he's the captain of the Enterprise B. What the fuck is that actor's name?
Yeah.
IMDb, save me. Alan something.
Yeah,
I
he
see
was
his face.
back
I'll be
in-
able to go, yeah,
Alan
that's
Ruck.
the dude.
Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck was the guy. That's right.
Matthew
Barry Bostwick
Broderick. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah,
No, that Martha Broderick is Ferris. It's his best friend.
Oh, the other guy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going
so
through the list of actors in Search for Tomorrow.
So I have In Search of Tomorrow, I have In Search of the Last Action Hero, and I have the one they did about horror films.
Are the other two good? Are the action hero and the horror
yeah.
film pretty good?
They're all good. There's actually, if you want to do a fun documentary to watch about movies that you guys want to react to and have a good time with, I would recommend watching Machete Maidens, which is all about the female exploitation movies they used to make in the Philippines in the 70s. It's amazing documentary.
Okay.
I'm excited about the documentary we're going to watch about them making movies. Search of Tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I haven't seen it.
You're gonna have fun with that. Barry Bostwick just didn't come across to me as a big hero. I forgot he was Brad in fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show. And yes, he was in Megaforce. His favorite role of mine is actually he played FDR in FDR American Badass. Which, if you've not seen that, that's a funny fucking movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's like $50,000 budget, but it's worth it because werewolves gave FDR polio, and the werewolves are Nazis.
Yes. Have you seen
makes
Electric
sense.
Boogaloo, the wild untold story of Canon Films?
I need to. I just saw that advertised today, and I'm like,
It's
gotta
worth
watch
it.
this. Okay. I'm a fan of Canon Films. I wish I I wish I had higher taste, but I don't, and I really enjoy Canon films.
See, I'd share my Plex
Never
with you, but I
apologize
canceled
for
my
that.
Plex subscription, so sadly I can't share it with you anymore, Bruce.
It's okay. I've got a Plex. We'll figure it out.
Oh no, I'm not paying for it anymore. I had like 10 friends on it when it came time for the service. I was like, okay, can everybody throw in a couple of bucks to offset the subscription for me? All I heard was crickets. I'm like, well, fuck all y'all then. Cancel subscription. I can watch my Plex anywhere I want. And we lost Bruce. Hi, welcome to my show now. Bruce is gone. I've dealt with him. Anyone else want to get dealt with?
Cat took him out for you.
Yeah.
In search of Bruce. Oh, there he is.
There he
If
is.
it happens, you hit the back button on your mouse, and it's like, fuck, why'd I do that? Okay.
You bumped into it.
Bear got promoted.
Or demoted. Now you're
Okay.
stuck with the rest of them.
I'm just moded. I'm neither promoted or demoted. I'm just moded.
So for those of you that are part of this channel's every Sunday event, we do a little movie review after we watch it. We review it within minutes of us watching the ending credits. I like that. I do kind of miss my old schedule where we would watch it on Sunday, and then Monday would be the review, and Janet would come in and cosplay, which she would have, had time to research and do all the things she needs to do. Now my schedule doesn't allow that. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I used to like to make the little promo videos.
yeah,
Some of them were kind of spicy, depending on the movie.
Bruce, if you don't mind, real quick, everybody who's watching on my channel, go to the show notes, and there's a link to Bruce's channel there. Pop over and subscribe to Bruce, please.
you don't have to do that.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, though. We do this every Sunday, usually around 2:00 in the afternoon on Central Standard Time, Chicago time. For those of you that don't know that,
It's not a real time zone. Stop lying.
I know. Central Standard is what we call it here in the States.
Central.
You know, right? It's not in the States. It's Central, right.
Do you guys have mountain time in the States?
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just love making up time zones, don't you?
Well, it's funny
we have-
because
isn't Arizona in a place
Crafty
called
is
time zone?
in avocado time. I'm in mountain time.
And we're in the same state.
It's all sorts of messed up. Like people just like screwing with time.
Yeah, I'm in
Timey,
Central.
wimey, wibbly wobbly.
I'm in Central Time.
Not a real time.
What do you guys call it in Canada or Canadistan? For
Central.
those
No,
of
we
you,
call it, in Soviet Kazakhstan, we have the following time zones. Newfoundland, which is a half an hour ahead of Atlantic, which is 1 hour ahead of Eastern, which is 1 hour ahead of Central, which, depending on the time of year, is either 1 hour ahead of Pacific or 1 hour ahead of Eastern. And then we have, 2 hours ahead of the Pacific. And then we have Mountain Time in Alberta for some reason. And then we have Pacific.
it's weird.
All of these are nonsense and we don't need them. We could just have a 24-hour clock and all of us just accept that I get up at 8 p.m. because that's when the sun comes up where I live.
Wait, the world is round,
that
Papa?
sounds
I
like-
thought it was
That
flat.
sounds smart.
Who's right?
Listen, Papa Cotton, we're not going to take your global roundy type nonsense here, sir. We are clearly banana-shaped planet. And that, my lord, is how we know the world to be banana-shaped. Monty Python? No one? Okay.
I thought it was shaped like a donut.
If it's flat, then everybody just walks off the side.
No, there's a big ice wall. We're safe.
Repopulate.
There's some clipping involved.
Ignore the horizon. Don't pay any attention to that. Also, ignore the man behind the curtain.
I think
Ignore
Connell's
that too.
the king of the flat earth, isn't he?
Is Connell the flat earther? Don't give me
No,
more
but
shit
he
to
likes-
make fun of
he
him
likes
with.
No, he
He likes those
dated
flat
a
earth
woman who was a
women.
flat earther.
He dated a woman who was
that's
a
what it
flat
was.
earther?
Yeah, he
Yes.
likes flat earth girls.
It was
Oh,
a comedy gold.
this is even
I
better.
bet he had to wear a triangle hat.
I don't know, but it was funny, the whole story about his flat earth girlfriend. But she was spicy, apparently.
Soy-based Jeremy, while you're giving us all these lovely facts about Newfoundland, you might want to know that it's also one word, not two. Just a freebie for you. You want to piss off Noofs, do that. They'll get real fucking salty with you. Australia is fake. That I agree with. Birds are flat. There you go. Connell dated a flat earther. I cannot wait to make fun of him for this.
I think she was. I think she was really
She
hot.
was a definite flat earther, and she was severely pro-Trump, which he would never fail to mention that each and every
Oh yeah,
time.
that rubs him raw.
Or is he a super lefty?
No,
Yeah,
he's
Not
of,
really. I
of
don't
the
think he likes politics at all. He doesn't want
he's
any.
of the opinion that he doesn't like Trump, but he also claims that he's not a lefty. So he's in that weird gray area that just hasn't balkanized completely yet.
Have you guys, like, Connell shows up on some of my streams sometimes and hangs out, and have you guys tried the technique I use, which is just calling him on his shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Works really well.
yeah.
He folds like a house of cards. It's amazing.
He folds up like a Turkish prisoner. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Wow, that went dark.
Ooh, speaking of which, Movie Channel here doing movie reviews. Have we done Midnight Express yet?
No,
Mm-mm.
not as of yet.
Would you like to?
Would you like to know more?
Because it leads into an awesome soundtrack involving synth.
What has been
The movie itself is kind of dark, but damn, that soundtrack hits.
It's got Brad Davis in it.
I watched it in college. That was enough for me.
Who's in it?
When I used
Who's
to,
in
when I
that
used to
movie?
when I used to babysit my nieces and nephews and they'd misbehave, I'd grab them by the foot and take like a wooden tube, like a tissue paper tube, and just beat the bottom of their feet and go, "We're playing Midnight Express now." They never got the joke, but I thought it was nice.
Who's in that? And what's it
That's
about?
brutal. So it's based
So
on
the guy
a true
getting
story. A guy was
smuggling black tar heroin in Turkey.
yeah. Billy
So it's a
Hayes
drug-
was the guy's name, and it's got John Hurt, Bo Hawkins, Randy Quaid, Brad Davis,
Paul
Oh,
Smith.
I like her.
Paul Smith. Yeah,
You know that line in Airplane? You ever been in a Turkish prison, Billy? Well, this movie explains to you what happens in Turkish prisons, Billy.
No.
It's brutal.
I never-
It's a
I
fucking
hope I
brutal
never
film.
go. I hope I never go to prison.
It is
I-
brutal as fuck. Good movie, but like I watched it once and was like, well, I never need to see that ever again in my life. I'm good.
Just the tags that are in IMDb, a public place where I regularly send children to do research for films they might enjoy.
No.
Just the tags for Midnight Express, 1970s, prison drama, gay kiss, watching someone masturbate, social masturbation, and a 341 more. That right there, like, okay,
Jesus.
I don't think I need to watch this with my
Wow.
nieces. and
Is it
nephews.
a bunch of men, right? It's a bunch of men. So you guys are going to watch a movie with a bunch of men masturbating? Is that what you're
I'm-
saying?
no. Taking it out of context. Ah,
You,
Sounds like to me.
you are fake news.
all right. So the whole scene with him masturbating is because he's been in that Turkish prison for way too long. He's messed up in the head, and his girlfriend comes to visit and brings a photo album with a bunch of American money hidden in it. And he goes and cleans his pipes because he hasn't seen a woman in forever. And I'm just going to leave it at that because you got to watch the
So the
movie.
stories I've
and-
heard about
and get it in
prison then aren't
context.
true. So the stories I've heard about prison aren't true. About you get lots of sex.
Well,
in
no,
prison. It's just
the
not
stories
sex
about
anymore.
prison are probably true, but in the context of this movie, which
Mhm.
no, this movie is a little bit different. It's still brutal. You don't want to go to prison. You definitely don't want to go to prison overseas in a country that you get busted trying to smuggle hashish.
Hey, Bruce, I think 6 Nations, 31 Kings needs a timeout to think about what he's done.
It wasn't me. I'm blaming IDBM.
I'm blaming you for going, we should watch Midnight Express. That's what I'm blaming you for.
I never heard of it. Well, I heard of it. I think I have heard of it. I've never seen.
D&D needs rules for this. How many torches per mandatory masturbation stop for a party of developers? I
You see
wonder.
what you've done? You see what you've done? You see?
Yep.
Are we
Yeah.
talking like full rounds or segments? Because like some of us,
Fuck. Oh, Jesus.
You
How's
gotta
that
make
translate to
sure
Bruce Minded?
you have to have magic water, a canteen, because you'll get dried out very quickly.
Okay, it's been fun being here, Bruce. I gotta go. This has gone into like really weird places. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Bye-bye.
We want to thank Bear for showing up today. Want to appreciate everyone for tuning in, and this is a part of the conversation I was not expecting us to get into.
You know, it's funny when you're talking about film that how easy it is to get distracted into how many torches do you use in a D&D dungeon while masturbating, and do you need holy water for lubricant? I think that's an absolutely valid train of discussion and intellectual inquiry.
Yeah, completely.
How do you learn if you don't ask questions?
By doing. That's how
By
most people
doing?
learn, by doing. I got my
Well,
torch
well, I
going.
was
I
going
don't
to
know how to
segue
do that.
into
Hang on.
the soundtrack
Lessons upon
to the
There we
aforementioned
go.
film was done by Giorgio Moroder, who did The Chase, which happened to be the theme song used on the Art Bell show, Coast to Coast.
Yeah, well, that's only until he gets killed by stormtroopers, and then we're stuck with Danny Elfman.
Chase is the Art Bell theme?
Boom, boom,
The Chase.
No, it's not. It's from the
Uncredited
Warriors.
by Giorgio Moroder.
boom,
That's
boom,
from the
boom,
Warriors.
Boom, 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 boom.
I love that movie. Yeah, we did review that one.
Isn't that from the Warriors?
Nope.
Nope.
Sounds
That's
like
the Warriors. The Warriors has a different.
That is the Chase. Look at that. I always thought it was the Warriors. I'm so stupid.
What
Well,
was it from?
6 nations and 31 kings. You've redeemed yourself with your Turkish masturbation torch theories.
Hey, don't drag me into their personal hell. I just mentioned the movie,
Nope,
the
you put the
soundtrack.
fucking- Listen, you're the asshole who walked up to the bus and put it in gear on the cliff, on the hill. You know, you're responsible for this trip.
Yeah, I thought you seemed like you were very well educated on some things that happen in a prison.
I've never been to prison.
Well,
I've never been arrested. I have never
Yeah.
been caught.
I haven't
Oh.
got.
Pat and I are going to go to the deep desert now.
Pray for Shai Halud to eat you up.
We're going to go to Pahrump.
Oh.
Mr.
I didn't
Baker,
Oh.
run.
That would be,
Run, Mr. Baker. Run.
well, where Bear's going is still be better than Albonia.
Oh.
No.
Mm.
I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today. This conversation.
Oh, no, you don't get to end the show. No. This is your party. This is your happening, and clearly it freaks you out.
So I was thinking like, okay, Midnight Express might not be bad because I remember seeing that in Paul Smith's fucking IMDb, and as I was reading through it about 5 minutes ago, I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this movie with a purpose of intent to review it. I mean, I don't want to watch the Marine Corps movie with Jake Gyllenhaal for the same reason. You don't want to watch another. As a man, you don't want to watch another man masturbate out of pain.
Well,
That's
you
just-
can watch Brokeback Mountain.
So I'm noticing a sort of vibe to the conversation all of a
I
sudden.
was thinking that it's a 70s movie. Another good 70s movie was The Sorcerer, right? Where they're hauling the explosives through the
We watched that. We
South
already
American
reviewed that
mountains
movie
and
2 years ago.
Which one?
The Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
Oh yeah.
The movie
Roy
that almost
Schneider.
killed a couple of actors. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
That is a very good movie. But that bridge scene was scary as shit.
yeah.
Have you reviewed Midnight Cowboy yet?
Not yet.
I'm walking here. Come on, it's a classic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, asshole wants attention. Fine, asshole gets attention. There.
Oh, he can't help it. He hears you talking and he knows you're not talking to him.
Well, I do know
Well-
this much about Janet and Bruce. Bruce has not said when, I don't think Bruce said he's going to either, but it wouldn't surprise me, as how I should put this, if Bruce one day said, "Oh, Janet, we're covering Willy's Wonderland."
No, we're not going to do that.
I'll take another.
That's a movie that Janet will separate from me on.
It's
what about Mandy?
horrible. I could barely
Instead
watch
of Willy's Wonderland,
Man,
do the
Mandy's
movie
amazing.
Mandy.
Mandy's an amazing film. What's wrong with Willy's Wonderland, Janet?
It was horrible. It was the worst movie I've ever seen.
That's your kryptonite right there, as far as movies go.
So, Janet, I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't know what your normal tastes are like, but if that's the worst movie you've ever seen, I've got some contenders I could show you.
So does Bruce. He took me to some website and was showing me some movies he's wanting to watch or has watched in the past, and I was like, I'm glad I hadn't seen any of them.
So, okay, here's an example. I'm going on an 80s trip and trying to find all the big 80s films I never watched because I had no interest in them at the time, and I watched The All-Nighter a couple of days ago.
Never heard of it.
That's a really bad film. Susanna Hoffs. It was like going to be her big movie career breakthrough. The chick from the Bangles that everyone wanted to fuck. And it is an insanely bad movie.
What is it about?
I don't know. I saw it, and I can't tell you because it's just a bunch of disjointed bullshit.
Yeah, see,
I
that's
think it's about facing the fear of ending college. No, there was a plot to Willy's Wonderland. There was a throughway. You could follow it from the start to the finish. The All-Nighter just has random events happen. You just go, why do I care about any of this all of a sudden? What the fuck's going on? But that's okay. I then saw a much, much, much worse film last night. Let me get the title for you because this movie has to be seen to be believed how bad it is. I got it because one of the YouTubers I watch recommended it as a movie to watch, and then when it was over, I just was like, what the fuck did I just do with my life? I need to reconsider everything I do because this was an awful film. It's called American Rampage 1989, as the year it was made. And it's a low-budget action film, like in the vein of like Samurai Cop. Okay?
Yeah.
It's that low budget. But Samurai Cop, I can watch from start to finish and go, well, it's a shit story, but at least there's a story I can follow. This one, wow. Just wow. I highly recommend everyone watch it so you have a new baseline for what a shit movie is.
Has anybody seen that one? Someone else in here?
What's the name of
American
that movie?
Rampage.
American.
Sounds familiar, though.
It sounds like it's right up Bruce's alley to me.
It's like it wants to be an Andy Sedaris film, but has none of Andy Sedaris' talent. Let me say that again. It has none of Andy Sedaris' talent. Let me read you the IMDb stinger on it, okay? A female Los Angeles cop relentlessly tries to bring down a powerful drug cartel kingpin, I suppose, and losing partner after partner in the process amid the frequent shootouts of her social life, or lack of. That's about 1/3, maybe a quarter of the story of the movie. The rest of it's just random scenes that make no fucking sense that end in bad shootouts. Oh my God, this movie is so bad. And you're talking to a man who's like going to do an Andy Sedaris film. I've got all his films now. I'm going to do like a marathon one day of just watching every Andy Sedaris film from the first to the last. I'm going to skip his son's films. And I can get through all that shit. This, I was like, oh my God. The only reason I kept watching it was because it was like watching a fucking train wreck. And the train was full of like orphans and nuns. And you're just watching it going, how can this get any worse? Oh, they had puppies in the cargo container. Oh, man. That's how bad this film is.
And they're putting out the fire with the nuns and the children.
Napalm. With napalm.
With napalm.
They're using napalm to put out the fire. And it has sex scenes. Hey, who wants sex scenes? I didn't after this movie was over. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I don't ever need to see that again. They go to a strip club. Oh, no, just no.
Not even the A-Team, huh?
What's right? Oh yeah,
You made this.
Lena Quigley has a cameo in it, and it's clearly they went and hired Lena Quigley for a scene that they shoot in one location with her, and her character comes into the story and dies, and you're done. That's how Lena Quigley's in the movie. She was their star power.
She remembers the movie. She remembers filming it, but she never knew if it was released.
Oh, it was released.
That's in the
I
trivia
might have
for the
seen
fucking
that movie now
American
that I'm looking
Rampage.
at some of the scene stills. It might have been on like USA Up All Night or something.
I'm
Are
sure.
you not allowed to show any of the stills, Bruce?
Let me get over to that.
Because I'm trying to picture all these characters, and I don't know anybody.
It is awful. It is an awful film.
I'm happy.
Like, in the days before YouTube, back in the day, we used to make our own action films on my buddy's first his Super 8 camera and then on our video camera. And they were stupid and bad, and we crappy special effects, and we didn't know how to make squibs, so we'd make these giant squibs that would explode and white out the camera and what have you. But we had fun, and we watched every bad film we could just to get ideas, okay? And I have a deep appreciation for shitty, schlocky action films, and this movie almost broke me. What are we looking for?
The American Rampage. I just went into Lena Quigley's
quote. 89.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
Here we are. American Rampage.
4.3 stars. There, that should give you an idea of how many fucking stupid people there are in the world. There's our female lead. There's her first partner who gets killed after her sex scene with
her. I've seen her in something, but not that movie.
All the bad guys look like they hang out at like a stereo store in the 80s, which is really fun. She has this constant, there's Lena. She has this constant frown on her face. She has like frog mouth. Like, it's really disturbing. Random tits, because you got to have random tits. There it is. There's Frog Face. How you doing, Frog Face?
I recognize her. I recognize that bitch face.
What's her name? Kelly J or something like that?
Carrie J.
Carrie J. I don't think she's done anything else, has she?
I don't think so.
Would you after that?
Yeah, that entire sequence that you just saw on the box cover does not happen in the movie ever. That does, sadly, but you don't ever see a helicopter blow up. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Yeah, it's a pretty bad fucking movie.
They have 13 stills of this movie, 3 of which I think are box art.
Which may or may not actually exist in the film.
Yeah. All right.
For those of you who watch this film and, like me, lose a portion of your life you're never getting back, you're welcome.
Carrie J, known for American Rampage. Actress, American Rampage.
And we're done.
That's it. That's all she's got. There might be a porn IMDb where she has more credits, but I don't think IMDb imports that.
They don't want to be associated with this film.
I wouldn't doubt it. Would not doubt it.
The woman that was in the hamburger movie we reviewed, the one that got the smile on her face while she was eating dinner. Remember, someone was under the table. Now, wasn't she? She wasn't in very many movies because I didn't know who she was until I saw her in that one.
I actually like Hamburger the Motion Picture.
Never seen it.
Silly movie, fun to
I
watch.
laughed a lot. I thought it was really funny.
For it being as 80s as it is, it really held up well. Would recommend anybody to see Hamburger the Motion Picture. I mean, Dick Butkus plays the drill sergeant that gets everybody ready to be restaurateur.
Well, I can highly recommend The Stupids. It's a really funny movie.
Under.
Yeah. Only 10 stills from this movie. The first 2 minutes of the film are American food porn of people just eating hamburgers and fries. Let's see, Randy Brooke, Jack Blessing, Barbara Winnery. I'm trying to remember who the lady was at the start of the show that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, isn't she the one I dressed up like?
Yep.
the teacher.
Yeah. I think it was Leslie Scarborough. Yep.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
You all
And she
right?
just took well, I'm a ginger, so she didn't get my soul because I don't have one. But fuck, if I had a soul, she just stole it. Jesus Christ. Go back to Crazy Eyes, man. Look at that Crazy Eyes. I mean, okay, there we go. What the fuck?
Wasn't she a brunette in the movie though?
She had darker brown hair in the movie. Was quite fun. She looked like a early Sarah Palin. Sort of fun, crazy shit that you do in college.
There's no picture of her from the movie.
Say again?
There's not a picture of her from the movie.
No, there's not, which I don't understand why. That was like one of the better parts of the film. Now, the entire movie's good, but like when you're watching that, you're happy that you're a man. She just quit acting back in '91. She wants to be a grandma now, I guess. I got bear soul. Thank you, Bear.
Freaking Shang Tsunged him. Your soul is mine.
Oh.
Here's a tip for middle-aged women. Raccoon eyes, not sexy. Just fucking terrifying.
Yes, it was Dick Butkus, a Chicago Bears player. He had a limited acting career. He did a lot of good films as a big guy. He was
What
also
was the TV show he was on?
He was on Blue Thunder.
No, there's another show he was on.
Him and Bubba played on Blue Thunder together.
Let's take a look at his IMDb. Oh, he's acting as of 2014. And I guess he passed away recently, did he?
3 years ago.
2020, he died last year. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's in Necessary Roughness, which is really good. He's in The Last Boy Scout.
Your DM on Discord, Bruce.
Oh, wow. I have to share something.
You remember that?
Oh, no.
I do.
Here it comes, Bear.
What's this?
Hello, it's Jan from Another Planet.
Oh, damn.
Join Bruce and I tonight as we review the movie Hamburger, the motion picture, starring Lee McCloskey. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, you don't have raccoon eyes. It's not scary.
That's okay. That's not the clip I thought it was. I thought
That's what she looked like in the movie. Well, it's like
perfect.
what she looked like.
Well, then I will definitely have to check out Hamburger the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if that's his real name or not. It's just that's what we got, man. And he was a footballer, so we all knew that he was probably tougher than us.
tough enough to take on a bear.
Yeah, Janet, I remember that short you did. That was a great short.
What are we talking about now? Is this going to be more Janet's cleavage?
I don't have cleavage to advertise, so she outranks me on that.
Well, I can't help it. If they pick movies where the characters have cleavage showing, that's who I dress up like.
Nice work, Janet. Blame
But I did
them.
order me some bald wigs, so I get to be a bald
Okay.
character if somebody picks a movie with bald women in it.
Well, that could easily be done with the first Star Trek movie.
I know. That's what I'm hoping we do. Beat ya.
1138. One of my lesser.
Okay, so Hamburger the movie is on YouTube, or Hamburger the motion picture. Sorry.
Yes.
All right, I will watch this.
It's an entertaining film.
Yeah, Bruce liked the shower scene.
I didn't have a problem with that movie at all. Thought it was pretty good. Thought it was worthwhile.
Have you ever watched 1984 She, Sandal Bergman?
Yes, I have.
Okay. This movie is a D&D adventure path waiting to happen. Yes, Dick Butkus was in something with Emmanuel Lewis. That is correct, sir. The hell was that show?
Oh, that was Webster.
No, it wasn't Dick Butkus.
No, that wasn't Dick Butkus.
George.
No, that was
Mongo.
You were thinking of Webster, wasn't it?
The guy that played Mongo was in Webster.
Yeah.
Mongo like.
And on Mongo like candy. Sheriff Bart whipped Mongo's ass good.
Mongo is just a pawn in the game of life.
Yeah, there's a lot of one shot appearances that Butkus did on TV, but he didn't really star in any TV shows. Sadly. Except for Blue Thunder. He did 11 episodes of the Blue Thunder TV series, which is not worth remembering, just so we're all clear on that.
I did like the movie.
Oh, and he was also on
but
My
I had
Two
Rick Ryder in
Dads.
it.
No, he was on My Two Dads. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
Blue
my
Thunder
apologies.
was meh. It's okay.
Well, the movie was okay, and the show was whatever. I worked with Roy Scheider in the 90s on something, and all I remember was at that point...
Was it Sequest? Because that was a good show.
No, it was
opinion.
some movie of the week he shot here in Montreal where he played the president. And I was helping my buddy who was doing the guns on that one out. And all I remember seeing him on the Video Village capture and just going, Jesus, he looks like a Muppet. Like, that's all I could think in my head was that Roy Scheider looked like a Muppet. It was like, holy fuck. Well, don't everyone talk at once.
I know.
I was in mid-swallow and going to munching on some food.
Uh-oh, you.
Well, this
You
is
dirty
a the Hamburger the movie is a really good film. Dick Butkus is an actor. I don't really remember more than like 5 or 6 roles he had. I just can't remember the thing he did with Emmanuel Lewis. I thought Mongo was the guy that was with Emmanuel Lewis on Webster.
No, you're right.
Okay.
No, you're right on that. Yeah, that's what's his name? Alex Karras.
That's it. And he
Was
just passed a couple years ago.
He 2012. He did some other stuff that he was really good in too. Like, just trying to remember some of his stuff. Porky's. He was in Porky's as the sheriff. Porky's brother.
Mm-hmm.
What else has he done? He was in Against All Odds. Really? Wow.
He was in Victor Victoria as Squash Bernstein.
Never seen that movie.
It's good. It's a good movie.
Oh, I love that movie. It was one of my mother's favorites movies.
Yeah, and again, a lot of one episode stuff.
Yeah. He was Jughead.
Sorry?
He was Jughead Miller in the Alcatraz Whole Shocking Story.
I don't think that's the Alcatraz we're thinking of.
No. No.
It does not mean what you think it means.
He actually had a lot of...
I love saying that to Jackie whenever he starts throwing around the word gay, because he throws it around so nonchalantly.
Who's Jackie?
Shadow and Sun.
Shadow Sun.
Oh, does Jackie say gay a lot?
Yep.
Yes. Well, he did for a while. To the point that I love saying, I don't think exactly what you did, Bear. I can't quote it right at this particular second, but because he would throw it around at ridiculous times.
I wonder if that was intentional, like the shock value of it all.
Probably. Eric Karras and Jeff Bridges and Against All Odds.
I worked with Beau Bridges. He was nice-ish.
I always thought it was interesting how football pads make you look almost like a cartoon triangle.
How what?
Football pads make you look like a cartoon triangle. You know how some cartoons draw people very triangularly from the waist up?
Well, when you have the ability to develop your muscles, you work out your back enough, you get an actual triangular look because you do have these wide shoulders, and you typically will have a smaller waist.
Well, you'll get the V if you have the smaller midsection, or if you're like me, you get a Y because you have a thicker trunk.
Yeah.
Or it could be like me, which is just a log all the way down.
Well, I mean, all these bitches keep saying they want a man with a six-pack. Baby, I bring a keg. Forget your six-pack. I got a
Lots
keg.
of women like love handles. They don't all want a six pack.
Sweetheart, I haven't got love handles. I've got love safety attachments. I've got.
Well, we don't want to drown in the river.
I've got love fasteners. I've got. In the event of an air water landing, I can be used as a flotation device. Yes.
Well, just so you know, Bear, your face doesn't make you look that fat.
No. My face is the place. I can show you pictures of me from films I worked in when I was at my biggest, where my face is super round. But normally, as I lose weight and I get more in shape, it goes from my face first.
Yeah.
And never from my midsection. It just stays.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, I've got love crash bars. Yeah, exactly. I've got oh shit handles on my side. And oh shit, we're going to crash. It's great. Works out perfectly.
I was just reading about Susan Clark, Alex Karras's wife, and they had a daughter, Katie. She died of Katie, and he died of kidney failure in 2012, which that would make sense.
That's fair.
Yeah.
She was
good.
He was a good actor. It's a shame he passed. I mean, look, it's never nice when anyone dies. I'm a big fan of, like, you know what, when a human being ends their existence, that's a sad thing. And you know, and the as I said on my stream this morning, if you're all edge and no point, you're a pizza cutter. So I don't want to hear about, well, this person deserved to die. Let's not go down those roads. Let's just leave it at, death is a horrible thing that waits us all at the end of the road. The death rate amongst the human race is 100%. So fucking live now. Don't be an asshole. And be nice to people and have a fun time and don't hurt. Pretty straightforward fucking guides to live your life by, yet so many people seem to not be able to grasp that. And it's not their fault. Everybody has damage from their lives that they carry in their heads, and it forms their personality, sadly, and sometimes it makes them into bad people or difficult people or mean people or whatever the case may be. But the good news is you can fix that if you want. You can take the effort to not be that person, but you got to try.
Should try.
Sadly, we're in the generation of it's not my fault because, and it's not my fault because is never the answer. It might not be your fault, but it is your choices that you're doing. So, as a friend of mine who is on the spectrum said, my being on the spectrum is the reason I'm like this, but I choose how I do things. And it's very important,
Yeah.
And that's a little life lesson for y'all from the Bear Cave. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
And if you did miss it back in 2007. There was a moment on television where Emmanuel Lewis looked big, and that was on the Surreal Life when they had him and Vern Troyer on TV together. Not trying to kick Vern at all, rest in peace, little guy, but it's one time where you get to see how Emmanuel Lewis did mature and did get older.
Gary, what's his name?
Gary
Gary
Coleman.
Coleman.
He didn't. He stayed the same his whole life, man. Like, it was creepy. Like, he just was Gary Coleman and that look until he passed, and then it was just, he was gone. He seemed stuck in time or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that was different from what I've seen of little people.
Yeah.
Normally they age. He didn't look like he aged. He got a little bit gray, but physically, it was all the same.
I like the fact that with the world that we had, Gary Coleman, we were able to see Emmanuel Lewis come in later and kind of ride that train that Gary Coleman helped lay the track for. It was a pretty interesting thing. It sucks about how the different Strokes kids turned out. The only one living from that cast now is Todd Bridges in a prison somewhere, I believe. That sucks.
I literally have found the ultimate I'm 12 and find stupid stuff funny picture. Ready? I'm going to present it here, and you can see if you want to pop it up or not. But this is 100% the universe has a 12-year-old sense of humor.
The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in Uranus at the Fudge Factory. Oh my God.
I'm saying, man, that's the universe's 12-year-old humor coming through right there.
I love it. We need that. The universe is not as fun as it wants to be, or as fun as we want it to be. It's
well, I don't think we need a. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. We could continue talking about little people, like
We really
Michael
should.
Don or David Rappaport.
We could always talk about the fact people tried to get little people tossing up in my city, up in my town.
Dwarf tossing is still illegal, right?
I think that's based on state.
the state where it's at. Some places it's completely legal. Some places you get arrested for thinking about it. Don't recommend. We need to go somewhere they believe in freedom first, then we can toss dwarves. Bear,
I think it's the most hilarious. Sorry.
No, I go ahead, say what you need to crafting, because I'm going to ask Bear someone kind of in depth here, or at least lengthy.
Okay. What I was going to say is that what I think the most hilarious is about dwarf tossing. Most of the time, those dwarf when they do that, they get buku bucks because they also have to be paid.
The equivalent of hazard pay or something.
Thank you, hazard pay. Because technically, if someone tosses low or not far, they could end up getting hitting the ground before they hit the target.
So Bear, one of the reasons why I was just surprised that Bear wanted to be part of today's stream. He's crafting a game that a lot of us remember from an earlier iteration, and it wasn't my game of choice back in the day. Although when my friends ran it, they knew the source material, they loved it, and they made it fun. And then as time went on, it sweetened the memory in my head. Bear, you're doing this wonderful comic book hero based RPG. How are things going with it?
So Nerd's Nerd put it best when she referred to it as the game of Theseus. We've had to replace half the staff on the people working on the project because of various reasons. Some being, their personal lives had a sudden bad turn, and we had to deal with that reality. And some of it because they just, decided they didn't want to do it anymore, and that, that's nice. The amount of money I have to put into the project for my own personal money is crippling, but it will get done. It's just going to take the amount of time it takes, but it will come out, and it will be the best we can possibly make it to be. We have some fantastically talented people replacing the people who left, who are also fantastically talented, but these other people are like really, really came through and were more than happy to step up and fill the thing. But as I said at the beginning of the crowdfunding, when you produce a project like this, you will run into problems that throwing money at them is the only way to fix them. And that's why I'm going to have to put a lot of my own personal money into this and get it out. But I will get it the fuck out. It will come out. And from there, we'll see what I can produce after to try and recoup my losses. But I will be taking a bath on this for sure.
Hearing stuff like this is probably the reason why I'm glad I know people who have done this before me, because I do want to do it at some point. And this gives me a really good warning as to what I should and should not be expecting.
Well, here's my piece of advice to anyone doing a game. Do it as a PDF with an option for print on demand later. Do not include print on demand in your funding, and you'll have a much better life.
I've heard
Trust
that.
me.
I've actually heard from a couple different people. Start with a PDF, and then if you find out it's really good, then do a Kickstarter for printable stuff.
Sure. That works. Oh well, live and learn.
I don't get to talk to you that much, although we have each other on Discord. I don't go read your Discord as much as I should, because apparently you've got some good information in there.
Well, there's some good chat and stuff, but my Patreon's where most of everything is happening right now.
Okay.
My Patreon's $5 a month, and every week I put up 5 new heroes and 5 new villains minimum for people to use in their heroic games. Plus other stuff. We put up adventures, new rules, lore for my Zenith universe, my Zenith Comics universe, playtest rules of stuff that are ideas we want to see how they work out. Put up even a 3-part free adventure. $5 a month. Highly recommended. If you're going to play heroic, join the Patreon.
I'm looking for that link right
Yeah, I was
now.
going to say, share your link in the chat.
Well, I can't share links in the chat because it's not my channel, but what I can do is put it
Go
in the
ahead.
private chat, and Bruce can pop it up.
Throw it over to me. There we go.
Well, here, look. I'll give you an idea of what we've been doing just lately. Like, I'll just go through only the stuff that is recent. I'm sharing the image with you if you want to pop it up, Bruce.
Yep.
Oh, no one. They shot him. No more
Okay.
Bruce.
So
This is the Patreon. So we put up a thing about what we're doing characters for right now, which is a part of the universe. I even made it a live read on my channel. You can go listen to that if you want, where I read the backstory in character. But like we got some villains, some heroes, more villains, more heroes, more villains. This one you can't see very well because of the way it cropped, but there you go. That's another one of the characters. And before anyone bitches and moans and complains, yes, I use AI art for the purposes of the Patreon only. Mm-hmm. I will never publish anything for sale using AI art, but I just like using it to get the looks down, so that way when I go to an artist, I can go, here, this is what he looks like, draw that. And then as a result, we don't waste time farting around with the back and forth of what's going on. All characters are fully statted for use in Heroic, and sometimes within those characters, you'll find new pieces of lore, new pieces of game mechanic, new ideas that you can use in your games. And then sometimes I have original art for older characters like the Mighty Turtle, which is one of the most popular characters I've ever created. People love him. But it's fun. There's lots of stuff. And literally, I also have, before June, I think, is when we started going for Heroic only. There's all my fucking Bastard Sword and D&D ideas and other fantasy and all types of role-playing stuff from the old stuff going back years. $5 a month, man. You get access to all of it. And it keeps coming every week. At minimum, every week. 5 new heroes, 5 new villains for you.
That's
Awesome.
very impressive.
And that money that you put into Heroic goes into the Patreon, goes to paying for the game to be finished and making sure we get all the art done and all that kind of stuff. So if you think I'm not supporting you because you use AI art and I only believe in supporting artists, you're creating a double-edged sword for yourself because the money you use there pays for the artists. So, catch-22. But that's the way it is.
Writing a game is art. It's a form of art. Just like writing a song is a form of art.
Well, no, but I use AI to generate the art for the Patreon. And some people have their nose bent out of shape about AI art, and I agree and disagree with various aspects of it. But at the same time, I could not do what I'm doing to produce this material in a good way if I had to pay for each and every piece of art I'm doing. But I've got artists doing art for the game that are using the money I'm generating on the Patreon to pay them to produce original art for the game.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of, good.
Yeah, excellent example, Janet, is I've been looking at some art from other people, and my very first version of my book will probably be AI art, and then I'll do something later where it comes out with real art once I can actually afford it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wolfbreaker.
Real art is very expensive.
The crafting gamer, you know the Wolfbreaker, right?
I've heard of him.
Chat? Okay, well, if you see him in the chat again, follow him because he is writing his own comic book, and he has friends that are artists, and they're starving artists. So there you go, and they're really good. I've seen a lot of their work. So
it's all, and I agree with the term starving artist, but one thing I've noticed about North American artists is they're starving until you negotiate price with them, and suddenly they think they deserve Marvel and DC prices.
I bet he would want to work with you.
Sorry?
I'm saying that I bet he would be able to work with you on coming up with ideas for characters and stuff.
Well, I don't need help with that. I got my own stuff.
Not you. I'm talking about crafting gamer because he hasn't gotten his.
Oh, TCG, yeah. TCG, yeah.
So that's a pretty good deal. You know, that's like $3.70 US and Canada bucks.
No, it's $5 American, sir. It's not Canadian bucks.
Or 98 bucks in pesos for our friends real south of the border.
Well, Shadow, I was talking to Shadow, I think, yesterday, and we were talking about I wouldn't mind having some flags for my game. And Jackie, one of the things he does is make flags. He was, I think he offered to make flags for one of the games that Shadow's friends are producing. And they did a very successful Kickstarter. Arduin, yes. Jackie got paid $1,000 for 70 flags. And when Noman did the calculations, I did, so I know how much I might want to offer him per flag. And it came out to just under $15 a flag.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
No, it's not.
Really, really low price, because I guarantee if you went and found an artist and asked them to do some flags for you, they'd be starting at, well, I'll do 2 flags a page, and I need $150 per page, and that's only for pencils, and they get really, really technical with you, and you just go, thanks, I'm good.
Well, look, I have a bit of an advantage in that point. I'm not even an amateur drawer, but I've drawn enough to know, you're scamming me on those prices.
It is what it is, man. Look, that's what they determine it as what their time is worth. Okay, and that's fine. I also have to determine what I can pay. So if your time is worth more than I can pay, no harsh feelings from me. Good luck, good Godspeed, and I hope someone comes and pays you what you think you're worth, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't think I'm cheap because I can't afford to pay you $300 for one piece of art for one page in a role-playing game I'm not making money on, you know?
Well, yeah, and there's also you yourself have to see what the
This reminds me of the whole conversation with Tommy doing that diecast model of the Enterprise. Like Tommy has been the go-to for diecast models for years, and then they go and have this Kickstarter for this kick-ass Enterprise, and then like they realized, holy shit, we bit off more than we can chew. So then they had to cut corners and try and finagle stuff because, like, for the price that you're paying, it would have skyrocketed. So, like, for $600, you get this 40-pound freaking awesome-looking USS Enterprise. Yeah, one 3/50th scale, right? Epic freaking endeavor. Was it 100% what they promised? No, but it was pretty damn close. I'd say like 80-85% of what they promised was in there. The engineering, though, was just too great of a task. So if you got 600 bills, it might be worth it. You got that type of disposable income? Yeah, totally would buy it.
If you have that kind of disposable income and you like superheroes, talk to me. I got some deals for you.
Oh, what I was going to say was you also have to consider what you are willing to pay to what the artist does. I'm not saying like undervalue him, but some artists value themselves in ways that are both under and greater than they actually are. I've seen people like, well, Jackie, I've seen a couple of the flags. $15 a flag, like Bear said, is really, really cheap. It's like, you probably should charge a little more than that, Jackie. Well, then again, he offered to do it for free. They just paid him $1,000 because he did so many flags.
So this is something I used to argue about with an artist I worked with when we were doing comics. When I was a professional actor, I would do student films for free. I would do indie films where I got, fed and paid $25 a day. And it's all part of paying your dues. And then once I was working all the time and I was an actual working actor and I was making money, I'd still do these things to basically repay what the places I learned my craft and honed my art. I would go backwards and say, yeah, I'll do your student film. I don't mind, as long as it's not conflicting with anything. Or, oh, yeah, I'll come out and do your horror film for a month. I get to stay in Nanaimo for a month and get paid, $100 a day and get fed 3 meals a day. I'm in, sure, sounds like fun. It's called paying your dues at the start, and it's called giving back at the end. And it just seems to be like actors get it, musicians get it. And people who have the visual arts don't seem to get that. And I think that's probably because I could be completely wrong on this and just talking out my ass, but I think that's because visual artists tend to be introverts more than they tend to be extroverts. So they don't have that working with other people vibe. They don't have that networking thing. They're used to people coming to them for something that they want from them. So they don't have that, community sense. I think. I don't know. Just seems about the only thing I can figure out logically for it.
Well, it does make sense, honestly.
But yeah, listen, we all create because we love, not because we're going to get rich. If I wanted to be rich, I'd become a plumber.
Or electrician.
No, less likely to get killed being a plumber.
Yeah, that's really true. I know 2 electricians that are now dead because of just shit arts. Things happen.
Well, man whoring is dying art.
If you want to be a man whore, go ahead and be a plumber. You're gonna have opportunity to make a happy housewife happier for you, giving her 3 minutes of your time.
The worst part about living in porno
3
world
minutes.
is... Hang on, Bruce. The worst part about living in porno world is this. Sometimes you just want to eat the pizza. Sometimes you actually do need your pipes fixed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pizza's here. Thank God, I'm so hungry. Why is your cock out? No. Put that away. I just want the pizza back. Look, here's money. I can pay you. Please just leave the pizza and take your penis and go. Please.
But I'm just saying that, like, in plumbing world, like, you do have the occasions. I've been a plumber for almost 5 years now, and that has been a possibility in about a handful of situations if I wanted to. But you don't want to do that. It's where you eat. You don't want to do that, young man. Don't do that. Do not do that.
The best part about being a plumber is, like, if you're good, you'll start off working in shit, and then you'll build up enough of a client base that you can hire young guys to go work in the shit for you.
Mm-hmm.
You just get to a point where you don't have to touch poop anymore, which is nice.
You're always touching it in some form or fashion. Even
not if you own the company. If you own the company, you don't ever have to look at shit again other than your own.
if you own a company though, you're dealing with shit that you'd rather just deal with the shit than like deal with that shit.
That aside, I'm talking about actual fecal matter, sir, not proverbial shit. Real
No,
shit.
I'm just gonna say that you'll be dealing with somebody's. You're ordering the parts for an ATU system, which is a lift station with a multi-chamber situation where they take shits and baths and it fills up a tank, then it spills over to another tank, then it filters it and it goes into a third tank. And when that fills up, then it shoots off through a bleach filter out through the yard in a sprinkler system, which is just stupid, but that's Americans. And that's what America wants right now, apparently. It's a bad idea, but okay, whatever. Um, you'll be dealing with this. You'll have a part that's not existed on a factory floor for 8 years. You've got to figure out, how do I get this lift station running again? And you realize you'd rather just be a dumb kid with a shovel digging down to the top of a septic tank than having to try to reverse engineer a part for a lift station. You'd
Yes,
rather.
but are you touching, smelling, and feeling fecal matter, Bruce?
Okay. At the end of the day, you're going to touch it either through yourself or through a proxy. So
I don't know about this proxy. I think you're being ephemeral, and I'm being literal. I think that's the difference.
okay, if you're fucking if your kid or if your hiree, if they bottle out, if they're like, listen, I've been on this job for 13 hours, can I come back to it tomorrow? And you're like, no, we got to get this done tonight. You eventually will have to go out, and as much as a 45 or 55 or 65-year-old man doesn't want to touch shit, he is a plumber, and touching shit it's part of the job.
I see. How much is that 45, 55, 65-year-old man getting for going out at that 13th hour?
About 120,000 to 250,000 a year.
I think you can touch shit.
Yeah.
If you're going to touch shit like twice a year for that kind of money,
yeah, that's about the frequency you have to do stuff like that.
Well, there you go.
When you're owning the company, when you've got a handful of employees that are supposed to be doing your stuff for you, you're going to have one that you fucked up. You hired him, you shouldn't have, and he makes you go out and touch shit.
Okay, so back to my original point. If I wanted to be rich, I would have been a plumber, and if I wanted a longer life, I would not be an electrician. There we are.
Yeah.
Everything I said stands.
Yeah. And even as a plumber, I deal with electricity too much because I got to deal with lift stations.
Are like these in people's houses?
Out in the backyard.
Wow. Can you
So have you found the?
where people aren't high-tech hillbillies instead?
Say again? High-tech hillbillies. What do you mean?
Well, they don't have sprinkler shit systems in their houses. They just have plumbing.
They have plumbing that goes out to a tank and a setup in their yard.
And I get that. I'm just saying, like,
and
never mind. Joke is fell apart.
You don't have like the if the ATU system fails, if it really fucks up, and if you've got like problems with that system, if that system is a 2001 or a 1998 Hoot manufactured system, and you can't find the parts for it, you're looking at the customer saying, I need about $7,500 so I can get a replacement for you.
Now, here's a question. Do you guys not have public sewer in your country?
We do.
See, because what they do here is they attach you to the main so that your sewer doesn't go to a septic tank. It goes out into the main.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in the city. If you live in the country.
Yes, so I'm talking about the city where you'll make the most money as a plumber.
Well,
no. The most money to be made is you don't want to really work in the city because the city has its own problems and you're dealing with inspectors all the time and you're waiting on parts. Like majority of your time, your hands are in your ass. You're waiting on parts. You don't want to do
Getting
that.
paid? Am I getting paid while I'm waiting on those parts?
A lot of times, no, but you'll average about 120 to 170,000 a year.
I can put my hands in my ass for that kind of money.
Okay. When the parts
God,
be Johnny on the spot. That's it. You know, you gotta fucking be able to answer the call.
Yeah. No,
And that-
also, I'm 54. I have no desire to start a new career as a plumber. I'm good.
Okay, but I mean, even shovel operators make 50K a year here, but that's just shovel operators.
Yeah, you can't live on 50K in Canada anymore.
No, not anywhere else either. But being a plumber, relatively easy job. All you're doing is just trying to get things to flow from this side of the pipe to that side of the pipe, and that's it. That's all this is. If you have any background in firefighting or oil field work, then you are a plumber. You don't realize it, you're a plumber. That's all that the job is. Firefighters get water from the truck to the fire, which involves pumps, which make it go from that side of the hose, that side of the hose. That's it.
Remember when we were talking about movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of went out in left field on this thing. I was going to say, like, life is like a toilet paper roll. You're either,
Well,
you're either
we'll
on
kind
a
of bring it
roll
back
or
to-
you're taking shit from some asshole. That's where I thought this was going. And now, it's
both
gone
stick with-
into this whole career opportunity in the, what is it, the plumbing arts?
Sanitation arts.
Custodial? Sanitation arts.
Sanitation.
There we go.
I get the joke
Well,
you're making, though. I love that movie.
Well, to continue with the with this theme, bring it back to movies and talk about video games all in the same segment. Dead Space has a video advertisement for a video called The Clogger, which is about a guy who can travel through sewage drains, comes up the pipe, and sucks your internal organs out your ass with a plunger.
Imagine being a person that 50K a year is a small amount. Okay, imagine being a citizen of Canada.
Or California. Or New
Or
York.
New York State. Or
Yeah.
Texas.
I was going to make a reference to Sewer Shark, which is the best
$50,000 a year in Arkansas.
sewer-based
that's
video
good
game.
money. That's good money.
I'm going to talk with Janet about anything other than video games. Hey, Janet.
Well, you might want to be careful. She played Goat Simulator.
That's good. Good for her.
It's a
Don't
fun
have to talk about it.
game.
Nah, now we're talking about it. Nah, fuck.
No, I won't talk about it. I won't talk about it. I'm
No,
just
it's okay,
saying-
Janet. Ain't my show. Talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. I'm good.
But
Not
the
mine
thing
either.
is, I wanted to know. Okay, so Heroic, you're on this campaign to finish that. About how many more months do you have? Do you think before you have your first initial release?
All the months. Our goal is to get the art-free version out by Christmas, and then after that, it'll be ready when it's ready. But that's why I've been transparent at every step of the process with the backers and everyone involved, that it is not coming out before it's ready. Don't get antsy. Just understand it's going to take time.
Yeah, that's
once
not
you're
encouraging.
Once you're finished and
200 years into the future, the AI version of Bear has finally completed the game.
Because world domination got...
Our ancestors have crawled out of the vaults.
constantly add new characters to it, so it keeps evolving.
Well, it's not a video game, so...
No, I know.
We have source material being produced. We have 3 adventures being written.
Mhm.
We've got all those lovely Patreon characters that can eventually be put into source books and collections of villains and heroes for you.
Mhm.
Lots of stuff we can do. So it'll have leg, it'll have life, but we got to get through the first part, which is getting the goddamn game out.
Yeah.
And then, seeing how it sells, obviously.
Yeah.
Sadly, we live in a world where we probably made the lion's share of our money off the backer kit, and that's our audience. So we'll see what happens.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, self-publishing is a labor of love. Don't do it because you want money.
Well, I'm self-publishing, but it's not anything to do with games.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm talking about niche within niche within niche, which is what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, I just write.
I'm thinking about it. People have been telling me I should, and I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see. I don't know.
But I
Well,
do it
for
for
the-
myself, basically.
I don't know anybody else that writes superhero RPGs, so it was something I wanted to ask. And having you here makes it easy to ask. So I appreciate you honoring me on that and just giving that answer, because it's a nice little project you've got.
Thank you.
Heroic looks like a lot of fun.
It is. We do a live play on my channel.
It's an easy system to learn, because there's really, if you're a long-term gamer, there's not much to learn. It's the same thing as what Marvel Superheroes was years ago. It's great, easy game.
Well, it's updated. There's some changes, and they matter. But no, it's very simple. I like to pride it on the idea that you can teach anyone to play in 10 minutes, and they'll be able to play. But it's a labor of love. I'll tell you that for sure. And I'm eating a lot of stress over this, and that's why when you said hero, I went, oh fuck. It's like, can I have one day where I don't talk about this goddamn game? But apparently that's okay too. So I'm just being a whiny bitch. But I'm just tired. I'm exhausted. I'm putting about 10K of personal money into this, which I don't currently have. So I have to actually generate cash and things like that in my life. And it sucks. And self-publishing is a very difficult fucking thing to do in a niche market within a niche. Also, and I say this with all the love in the world, I wasn't born an attractive lady with tits, therefore I don't get to play the game on easy mode. I get to play it in the hard mode where no one gives a fuck about what I do, and there aren't, people ready to just throw money at me because they want to simp for me, which is the life. And I'm not saying that for you, Jen. I'm just saying that in general.
Well, I've never asked people for money for that.
No, I'm not.
Like it.
I didn't think you were thinking about me.
No. I mean, I'm just in the general world of, things are hard. And for example, I posted a meme today on my Discord, which I think you'll appreciate. Bruce, you seem like the kind of guy who will appreciate this meme a lot. Hang on a second. There we go. That'll work. And let me go ahead and present. And there you go. I'm going to share that with you and your viewers. So it says at the top, when you realize there's an entire community of people willing to pay your rent.
Yep. It's amazing. I've had lots of people offer to send me money if I would send them pictures of my feet, and I just said, no, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe that. I honestly do. It's amazing, though.
Yeah. That's why I have so much respect for Kelsey Dion with Shadow Dark. She built her audience. She built her product, and she marketed it well and was in a prepared state to be able to release it at the exact right time during the OGL crisis, and she deserves every ounce of success she has.
Yeah, Shadow Dark looks like a fun game. I kind of agree with some of the tenets of it, but I think there's too much simplicity in it, and I think that's actually what kills the game.
I've seen your game. I know what you like.
Yeah.
You like games that make Aftermath look like story games.
I'm okay with that.
I resemble that comment.
I'm very, very okay with the fact that, like, my math.
If Bruce was a cereal, he would be Grey Cuts after they sat for about 3 hours in a bowl.
No. If Bruce was a cereal, he'd be Horkin fiber chunks. You know what I mean? He'd be muesli. He'd be muesli if he was a cereal.
We've gone for about 2.5 hours. About an hour of that has not been talking about this movie, which I really did enjoy. I do recommend everybody that wants to see a funny film, go ahead and watch it. Want to give big thanks to Janet and to Bear for being here with us today, and along with our other two special guests, which are part of the community, the Crafting Gamer and Six Nation 31 Kings.
Woohoo!
If aside from Bear, do you have any other plugs that you want to advertise out there? Because I understand the starving artist stuff, man. I get it.
No, man, I'm good. Look, if you're interested in superhero games, come on over to my Patreon. If you're interested in people being nice to each other and still loving role-playing games and not shitting on each other, join my Discord. If you're into just being an adult and having fun and not being a jerk, come hang out. If you're a jerk, fuck off up the model village and be a big man over there, because I ain't got time for you.
Yeah, there's plenty of Discords where being a jerk, being a dick, acting like you're on Reddit is a thing. Yeah. If you want to go hang out with Bear, I put his Discord in the chat. This
We got a
is
good
a nice
community.
place to be. I
What?
recommend.
We have people of every sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, race, religion, you name it. We do not discriminate, but we have simple rules, which is be nice to people and don't bring your bullshit here, please.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that goes for everybody, not just one side or the other. All sides.
Yeah.
Like how it used to be before the great unpleasantness.
Anyway, appreciate everybody watching. And for those of you that did join today as Bear's Patreon, I do thank you. For those of you that joined, subscribe to Bear or me today, again, I thank you. We'll be off next week, and we'll come back for a documentary review, the first of 2 parts, In Search of Tomorrow.
And by the way, and for seeing a video of Janet's cleavage and fishnets, I thank you.
Oh, it's fun. I love doing it. It's fun
Very
to
well. I love
pretend.
seeing it. So look at
and
that.
do
We're just
that.
making both of us happy.
I just love role play, and I just think it's fun. I love Comic-Con.
Well, now, Bear, you need to make a heroic movie so you can get Janet to cosplay as a superhero.
Not my fetish. We're good.
Have her.
It's
We'll get
fun.
something figured out. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to step out, and you have a great Sunday.
Peace, love, and geek.
Peace, y'all.
Happy Labor
See ya.
Day!
Oh, that's right. It is a holiday.